Aguero's right about the shoe. The shoe was not the same in the pic showed in court as the shoe pulled from the evidence bag by Trooper Bukake.
And you mentioned you're at the hospital. There was a sneaker. One.
Yes.
Bukake! Bukake!
Woo! Good evening, friends. Happy Monday. If there's such a thing, it's good to see you guys. I know it has been a minute. It's been a minute. Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit about that. There's a few things that we're gonna get into tonight. But I have missed you guys very, very much. Don't think that I have not. And I am aware that, like I'm aware of the effects that absences like that can have on my YouTube channel. I've always been aware of it. And I understand it and I'm okay with it. But I'll discuss this a little more in just a minute. I just want to take a second and say hello to you guys. Joanna Marie, it's good to see you, as well as Sleuthy Goosey in the house as well. It's good to see her, and Kaylin, of course. And Valhalla, my man Valhalla, and the expert in the chat. And JJ Canton, member for 3 months. Nan, you help Wedge as you help DY and KR in closing argument. Okay, thank you so much. Donald from Worcester. Oh man, yeah. Aiden just posted something about a cop from from Worcester. Um, I saw that. Pretty crazy. I don't know anything about the story, but I'm sure. I would imagine. I'm guessing that tomorrow when he goes live, he'll probably go over that, talk about that, because that's kind of a big deal. So listen, people. And I have to explain this like every time, kind of, but I'm not going to explain it too much. Okay. But and I'm not frustrated with anyone out there. I'm just I'm just gonna try to explain myself to the best of my ability, you know. So listen, I and wait a second. Four Cats Christy, hope you had a great break. Thank you, member, for 8 months. And wait. We got to do it. We got to do it.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat.
How dare you? Let's start this off right, says Jed Kitty. Thank you so much. Amber or Amy Boston. Amber, what? Amy Boston, member for 26 months. Like, I know who you are. Like, why did I say that? We're happy you're back streaming. Thank you so much. Prince loves the Leads. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Member for 8 months. It's great to see you happy. I am. Now, I want to be very clear. My absence had little to nothing to do with my new current relationship status. I want to be very clear about that. That's that's not the case. I realize that the timing is very coincidental. I get that. But no, that is simply not the case. I am very, very happy in my new relationship status. Kaylin has been amazing, just great. And I'm wild about her, and she's been amazing. What's up, Danny? It's good to see you, buddy. But now in Superstition Man, we're gonna really glad you typed that in there in the chat. I'm really glad you did. So here's the thing, like, so I realize that there's been chatter, you know, when somebody takes an absence and they don't explain to the world why, well then, you know, conclusions get jumped to. Okay, you know, I mean, like, if I was permanently gone, okay, well, whatever, you know, but I'll be back, so I don't worry about it, because I could just, you know, shut down most of those rumors by just merely coming back when I decide to come back. Dina, thank you so much. Nice shirt, Glara. Thank you so much. Yeah, you would like this shirt. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Dina. And Dina, man, Dina's a special one, man. Let me tell you guys. We'll get into that too. Yeah, and Kasi, I see you, homie. So I realize there's been some chatter, you know, shit like that happens. I'm seeing in a couple of chats that I was in today that supposedly Macro Machado has been saying something to the effect that I left YouTube because of Aiden, which is absurd. There's nothing within my actions that would ever indicate that that would be a conclusion that you should logically jump to. Ever. Like, you're retarded if you even consider that to be a possibility at this point. Much less a likelihood, much less believe it. It's just absurd. And if you believe anything that Macro Machado says at this point, well, you're just a fool. Like, the whole thing here is because she makes things up for content. The whole reason why people have decided, you know what, fuck this crazy woman, because she will take private people's information that was, you know, she was confided in with, and she will just violate that for content. And if it's not entertaining or juicy enough, she will make it that way. So this is very clear. So nobody should believe anything, you know. So, you know, now, there's been very little slight chatter as to why wasn't I on the Rat House Media fundraiser for Aiden. Don't know. Wasn't invited. If for whatever reason, maybe my absence sent the indication to them, to Danny, that I would not be interested. Okay, fair enough. But I would always, and have been, I'm not going to invite myself on something, but I would always be available. I think my actions have proven that. I will always make myself available for anything to help Aiden's defense fund, because I believe in what he's doing. So again, these are conclusions that one who is logical would not jump to. Yeah, I figured that might be a possibility too, Danny. I'm not taking it personally. I did ask myself, like, I wonder why, you know. But you know, it's you know, I at the same time, I don't see why not, you know, like I don't see, you know what I mean? I didn't see any reason to think that there wasn't a good reason for it, you know what I mean? And like I said, it was perfectly logical to assume maybe I just didn't feel like doing it, you know, because I hadn't been live myself. Understandable as well. So, oh, okay. So you were winging it. I love it. I have done that myself many times. So I understand. But yeah, like my point being is, don't assume my absence that I am not interested in supporting Aiden. Why is that the go-to? But here's the thing. And this is not new for those who have followed me for long enough. This isn't new. Sometimes I need to just fuck off for a minute. And the thing about that is, if I'm being totally real with you all, I don't feel like I'm obliged to explain why to anyone. You know, I mean, if I'm being totally real, sometimes I just feel like I gotta fuck off sometimes. I have personal shit that makes me feel like I gotta do that sometimes, that I'd rather not get so deep into with the world, you know? And sometimes it's, you know, the thing is, guys, I will share this with you. If I can't get in, go live, play my intros, and start the stream with a very genuine and honest woo, if I can't do that, if I can't see myself doing that, I'm not going to go live. Okay? That's the best thing that I can, that's the best way that I feel like I could really explain that to you. Right. And they raised like over $11,000, and that's fucking awesome. That's great. And yes, if I would have been happy to have been a part of that. It is what it is. The way that he ran his stream, it would have been up to me to jump on the panel, you know? So I didn't, you know, yeah, that's not anything against Danny. That's not an indication that I don't want to support Aiden. I did not know that that's what the deal was. And truth be told, I was not watching it, and not because of Danny, and not for any other reason, for just for the very same fucking reason that I felt the need to fuck off. But it had nothing to do with Aiden. It has nothing to do with any of you. It has nothing to do with the with the Machados or the fucking BLTs or the Cryfords. It has nothing to do with any of them. It's just a thing that happens sometimes, and I got to do it. You know, that's it. That's it. I'm sorry if that comes off as, I don't know how it comes off, but I'm just, I've always been honest with you guys, and I just feel like there's certain details about myself that I'm open about, and then other things that I'd rather not be so fucking transparent about, and that's all. Dina, thank you so much. I have been fucking off and enjoying myself. Remember 28, Dina, you're amazing. You're absolutely fantastic. And this isn't new, I've always done this. I have always fucking done this, so I just don't want people to, I don't want people to feel like, it's just, it's not really rational to jump to a conclusion. You know what I mean? Like I understand I'm a grown up, and I understand what the consequences for not going live often are. I could see how that might affect me and how it's going to affect my wallet, those kind of things. I'm aware of it, and I'm, and there are things where, I love doing this. And if I'm not in the right headspace to do it honestly, with love and gratitude the entire time, and just, with this need to just, if I can't honestly do that, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to come up here and fake it just to earn a couple bucks. I'm just not going to do that. I've never been able to do that. What's up, Massa? Good to see you. I don't think that's the case. I don't feel like anybody actually feels that way. It's just so much where there's times where it's like, you're getting a lot of chatter where it's like, where's Will? Where's Will? Where's Will? And then I got to struggle with myself and ask myself, well, what am I going to tell them? And then I'm like, well, why do I have to tell them anything? You know what I mean? Like, why can't I just be honest with them and tell them that I don't really want to discuss it? I've been open about these things. And I have my way of managing it. And I just, that's just how it is. And there's no sense in worrying about me either, if I'm being completely honest. And I mean that just to ease your minds. Like, there's no sense in worrying about me, because what can you do? Seriously, what can you fucking do? You know what I mean? So it's just sometimes I gotta fuck off. You know, that's it. That's the best I could explain it. You know, and then when I'm feeling good, I come back. You know, that's just it. You know, I mean, think of it like this: like when you think of people who you're like, dude, maybe get off the internet for a while. Maybe touch some grass. I know a lot of people like to use those cliches and say those things. Maybe get off the internet. How about just giving me the credit? Right? Isn't this fair? Give me the credit that I know when to do that. Right? And, you know, I'll be back when I'm back. Is that cool? I feel like that's fair. It's a good way to look at it, you know? But yeah, that's basically it. You know? That's basically it. Some of us actually know when to log off. You know? That's all. So but I do appreciate everybody's being, I mean, you guys are saying that you miss me and everything, man. It means the world to me. It really does. Like, it fucking, and then I feel like, man, I hate making people feel like that. I hate making people miss me, and this shit, it can get overwhelming, it can get overwhelming when you have already existing issues with calibrating everything, properly. So, you just gotta, like, sometimes you gotta hit the reset button, you know what I mean? But I missed you guys too. And there were days where I was just like, I really want to go live, like, but it's just like, I can't go on right now like this. I can't, like, that's it. Now, having said that, I'm glad to be back. I think we're gonna have a really fun stream. I'm gonna open the phone lines later. There's a few things that I want to go over. And thank you, Freckle Feet Kitties. And I tell you, this woman has been amazing. She has been very, very incredibly just supportive in all the right ways. She just knew what space to give me, and she's great. She's great. So yeah. Anyway. Petty streams, yeah. I mean, yeah. They're what was awesome is right now, I think something's off. Rebecca and Mel, they're doing a I guess they're a roast, their own version of a petty, and they're talking about BLT and Cryford right now. It's great. Yeah, she's been very patient. She's been very patient. So now there's been, I mean, the Lindsay Clancy stuff has been really, really heavy. And there's, first off, I gotta give a shout out to to Dina here. Dina's just my homie. She's always been my homie. And hold on. Why is that not showing up? Oh my God. Hold on. Okay, so listen, dude. There's this USA Today article, right? This USA Today article, and it basically reads, it's amazing. Lindsay Clancy's defense lawyer. This is printed on the 22nd. A lot of you might be already aware of this is updated August 23rd, and you guys already might be aware of it, but it says that it's amazing. Lindsay Clancy's defense lawyer has a shot to stardom. Tell her we love her, one Lindsay Clancy supporter told her defense lawyer, Kevin Reddington, outside the courthouse. I will, he replied. And it goes on to say he's a motorcycle riding, plain speaking advocate who has spent decades representing some of the most notorious criminal defendants in Massachusetts history, and is now embattled in what could be a legacy-defining case. Kevin Reddington, the lawyer for Lindsay Clancy, has struck a chord with online and television trial viewers across the nation as he has tried to convince a Massachusetts jury that his client was effectively insane when she fatally strangled her 3 small children on January 2023 evening. Excuse me. Reddington has showcased the talent for keeping complex psychological testimony simple and humanized his client even when he's saying nothing at all. He has sauntered around the courtroom while asking witnesses plainly worded questions and gripped Clancy's hand during graphic testimony about how she killed her children. Whether it is at the front of his mind or not, Reddington, 75, is also navigating the contemporary court of public opinion, a social media landscape that might have been unimaginable early in his career. He represented such figures as former Boston Red Sox star Mo Vaughn in a 1998 drunken driving case, and the longtime girlfriend of Boston mobster James Whitey Bulger, Catherine Grieg, who pleaded guilty to harboring a fugitive in 2012. But the seasoned attorney has negotiated that viral landscape with ease during Clancy's trial, inspiring memes on TikTok and Instagram that have helped rally support for his client. That's wild, yeah. Now, as the jury nears its deliberations in the device case, Reddington's skills and decades of experience will be put to the ultimate test. It's the track record of experience that makes him the best kind of advocate for Clancy, according to Martin Weinberg, a prominent Boston criminal defense lawyer who was an appellate lawyer for another famous criminal defendant, ding, 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 Kieran Reed. Reed was accused and acquitted in 2025 of killing her boyfriend, a Boston police officer, John O'Keefe. She wisely selected a lawyer that's comfortable with mental condition defenses, is comfortable trying homicide cases, and has the experience to maximize her chances to succeed, Weinberg told USA Today. It's just like it would be if you were a medical patient going in for some unusual or challenging surgery. You'd want a doctor that's done it and not a doctor who's doing a first operation on the kind of medical condition you have, Weinberg said. Good way to put it. For a lawyer, Reddington cuts an atypical figure when he's outside the courtroom. An NBC Boston 10 News report shows a photo of the wizened lawyer in a sleeveless denim and a leather outfit with an exposed arm tattoo sitting atop his Harley motorcycle. He told the outlet ahead of the Clancy trial that he handles about 10 trials a year and isn't planning to retire soon. Wow. He said, I don't want to work at Walmart. I don't want to work at Lowe's, so I think I like what I'm doing. I enjoy what I'm doing, Reddington says. History with major cases, insanity defense. If Reddington could persuade jurors that Clancy, who was paralyzed from what Reddington says was a suicide attempt, was temporarily insane when she killed members of her household, it wouldn't be the first time pulling off that feat. Reddington shot to prominence nationally more than 35 years ago when he won an acquittal for Massachusetts resident Therese Rogers by arguing that she was insane when she fatally stabbed her boyfriend in the eyes while he slept. Rogers was rendered delusional by post-traumatic stress disorder and battered women syndrome after years of suffering her boyfriend's abuse. Reddington told jurors that win earned him an invitation to the American College of Trial Lawyers, an invitation-only group that caps its memberships at less than 1% of the total lawyer population of any state. Reddington's stardom increased when he won an acquittal in 1998 for Vaughn, the former Boston Red Sox slugger, who was accused of drunken driving when he got into a crash after leaving a nightclub. Reddington argued that Vaughn's poor performance on field sobriety tests after refusing a breathalyzer was caused by the crash itself. Due to the life of much sought-after criminal lawyer, Reddington has also represented prominent clients who weren't able to beat the charges against them. After Grieg, who was the longtime girlfriend of Boston mobster James Whitey Bulger, pleaded guilty in 2012 to harboring Bulger when he was a fugitive, Reddington asked a judge to send her to prison for 27 months, saying she acted out of love. Grieg received an 8-year sentence. Near the prosecution desired 10-year sentence all the same. Wow. It's amazing. Dina, thank you so much. Many women are down there to support new laws and show support for women's mental health awareness regarding PPD and PPS. Fair enough, but we're going to get into that. It's interesting that you put it that way, Dina, but we are absolutely going to talk about this stuff because, and a lot of you may not like what I have to say. Reddington mounted another insanity defense when he represented Michael Muko McDermott, who killed 7 co-workers in 2000. McDermott testified that he believed he was actually killing Adolf Hitler and Nazi generals to stop the Holocaust, telling the police who arrested him, "I don't speak German." Yo, how does Reddington get these cases, dude? Shit. My mic got unplugged. I hope that didn't happen long. Okay. How long was I muted? Oh my God. Damn. Bummer. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't see the screen. And there's something really like, yeah, I don't know what it is about the way this mic is plugged in here, but it is very sensitive. And it's annoying that it's so sensitive because it just disconnects very easily. Damn. Jesus Christ, man. Well, the thing is I don't know when it happened. So I don't know what the last thing you guys heard. This is a long article. I don't want to read that whole fucking thing again. Okay. I'll just skip on to this. Reddington, by contrast, has struck a chord with some onlookers as he has attempted to convince the jury that the victims in the case were precious and were killed by a mother who loved them deeply. In this case, God bless you. You people are going to have to listen to some of the most horrific things, look at some of the most horrific things, and Reddington told jurors in his opening statement. Now, it was talking about also the mortal sin thing with the Catholic Church that happened. Now, Reddington argued a motion for a mistrial today, but the judge denied it. So yeah, we'll get into that too. Now, before I do that, I got to share with you guys this. Okay, hold on a second. How can I? No, man. That's annoying. Will it show up in my downloads? Let me see. Oh, yeah, maybe it will. Hold on.
Hey, Glara, I got someone that wants to say hi.
I told you that you were my hero 2 years ago.
Yo, Dina came through. Dina came through. Let's play that one more time. Not AI, people. All right. I tried to tell y'all, bro. Reddington's my guy. All right. He's been my guy. All right. Dina's been knowing this for like ever. And so Dina was very thoughtful. That was very nice of her. She was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get this. I'm going to get the great Kevin Reddington on video for this. And here it is.
Hey, Glara, I got someone that wants to say hi.
I told you that you were my hero 2 years ago.
Holler at your boy. Now, having said this, all right, I kind of want to soften the blow with what I'm going to get into here. All right. Because shit's been getting kind of out of hand, bro. First of all, the press now all of a sudden have been this. I mean, you can see, I'm going to play you my friends, Justice Serve TV. I'm going to play you this little minute and 19-second video that Michael Bryant posted, our friend Michael Bryant. And I'm going to play you this. There's some things going on with this case already that
All right, folks. The circus truly is in town.
I mean, look at this.
This is fucking ridiculous. I mean,
Right.
This is crazy. Yep. Welcome, all latecomers. Glad you could finally make it to the show. Just ridiculous. But as I've said many times, I'm glad at least it's getting some attention now. Now we go. Here's the line.
At least it's interesting, right?
Yep. They seem to be moving up the line rapidly.
I mean, nothing's really changed about the facts of the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, except for, I mean, yes, there's testimony where, yes, there's, you know, she seemed to have just been, you know, not treated properly medically for her mental health issues. But
Morning. How are you? There you are. That's what I found.
I just sent you some pictures. Hi, everyone.
there's Dina again.
Yeah. So
You just missed Rose coming in. Rose
did
Pico
she?
came in. Reddington did. I sent you a video of Reddington
cool.
coming in.
All right. All right. Yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You know, it's an embarrassment. It really is for some latecomers.
I know.
really
They weren't
is.
here the whole time.
Of course not.
So it always happens right near the end.
You see, Michael Bryant's an OG, bro. Michael Bryant was pre-trial, the second trial. Karen Reed, getting to know all the people, all the boots on the ground folks. It was great. Like, immediately that guy won my heart. Immediately. And he genuinely cares about this stuff. He genuinely cares about getting these, you know, and it just kind of sucks, especially with somebody with his experience, his legal savvy and know-how and experience, you know, experience as a journalist, you know, having somebody like Linda Kenny Bodden as a partner, you know, I mean, I could see showing up these people just all of a sudden they have this ticket. We're going to get into some of that too. Dean, I thank you so much. Michael called me to save a spot for him. I'll be back there for him on Wednesday. I love it. Right on. Yeah, man. Michael's a real one, man. He's a real one. And we already know about Dina. So yeah, man, like it sucks, dude. You know, like these, it's not like they haven't paid their dues. You know what I'm saying? And these are people who they know the case inside and out. Most of these reporters, these mainstream media reporters that just showed up, don't even really know the case. Their bosses just said, hey, this has become political. Yeah. Tell me it hasn't. Tell me it hasn't. Tell me it has not become political. Now, this is where it starts to disturb me. Because this isn't about politics. It's not about feminism. It's not about toxic masculinity. It's not about any of that shit. It's a question of whether or not postpartum depression can be so crippling that, and I didn't mean a pun there, can be so crippling that you actually do the unthinkable. You actually do the unthinkable in your confusion through no fault of your own. Can it be that bad? And can it be prevented, more importantly? But the other side of that coin is this. Now it's, what kind of precedent does it set for horrible women who just simply don't want to be mothers, because this has happened many, many times. If we follow true crime, we're not strangers to this. This happens often. Sadly, way too often. But how many shitbag mothers now, if she is acquitted, not acquitted, but put in a mental institution, what type of precedent will this set? Will shitbag women start to use fake? And I'm not saying the illnesses are fake. I'm saying, will they start to fake these illnesses in order to use them as an excuse to bail out of their responsibilities of being a parent? Now, I'm not saying that's my concern. I'm saying that is a concern, a very public concern, because I see it all over the internet. I have eyes. I'm observing this. So now, and it's crazy. Now, let me go over this real quick. Show you guys this. Now, I follow this guy, but I don't necessarily agree with everything. He's very political, but I don't necessarily agree with everything that he says. But this video had me asking myself questions. Where's come on, man. Okay, hold on. Dude, like I set the bookmark. I bookmarked it, but it's like not. Oh yeah. Now I can find it. Here we go.
There's a trend going on
Okay, hold on a second. How do I start it over?
right now with the whole same Lindsay. There are a bunch of grown women out there outside the courthouse where Lindsay Clancy is having her trial right now. Should tell you something. The fact that there's a trend going on right now with the whole same Lindsay quote on it should tell you something right now. Also, the fact that everybody thinks that it's just liberal women out there should also tell you something. I guarantee you it's not just liberal women out there. I guarantee you it's also conservative women out there too. You can't convince me otherwise. Now, from people that follow a lot of us, these comment sections alone have been telling. It's crazy to me how this is where we are as a society. Now, I'm going to ask myself this question. I wonder if a combat vet who came back home, suffers from PTSD, up and slaughters his family. I'm pretty sure it's happened before. I'm wondering if people would still be outside the courthouse rallying for that vet. Now, America's not perfect, but we got a lot of shit to fucking fix in this country.
Now
The fact that
that's a guy whose channel or his Instagram is like called Cruise Control. Yeah, he's he's from what I see a Trump guy, right-wing conservative. But you know, I agree with the guy when it comes to First and Second Amendment rights, you know, for the most part, and he makes a lot of sense. And I think that what he was saying here was very, very valid. Because think about this. If this is a mental health issue, why does it have to just be about PTSD or PPD? Why can't it be PTSD? Now, Reddington already defended somebody who was diagnosed with PTSD, who apparently stabbed her boyfriend in his eyes. Now, I'm just saying here, I don't know one way or the other. But I do know this, that there's a lot of people that are supporting Lindsay Clancy and they don't actually really know why. There was a lot of people that were supporting Karen Reed who didn't really know why, weren't there? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm just keeping shit real right now. Right now, there's a lot of hype behind this case. And I'm glad there is. And I'm glad that I'm seeing Melanie Little getting like 28,000 people at a time watching her fucking trial coverage. Because at least they're getting some, useful information. It's just not some radical out there trying to hype people up and trying to take the popular side in order to, gain more viewers. Riding the hype wave, that's not Mel. It's never been Mel. If anything, she helped build the popularity of the case. Superstition Man, thank you so much. Just because I appreciate that, my man. Appreciate it. And that's okay. I mean, that's, you're allowed to not like people. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. But I know Mel, and I know that, when she talks about these cases and she's passionate about them, she's genuinely passionate about them. And she's very fact driven. And yeah, Defense Diaries coverage, man, like the parent and daughter thing that they got going on is just fucking amazing. It's just great. And seeing them, now, there's going to be people who just have a lot of following and they're just going to jump on this bandwagon and, and there would be anybody who gravitates towards them away from the people who've been here covering the trial from the beginning, covering the issues that should be a question. And I think, and I want to see those channels do well. Like, I don't like that great channels that I've gotten to become friends with over the last couple of years, are having to compete with people like this. I'm glad Mel's getting the success she's getting, but I'd like to see that for all of them. I'd like to see that for Justice Served. I'd like to see that for Defense Diaries too, because they're all doing such a great job. But this is an issue, man. This is a current. This has become a political thing that isn't political, by the way. That's the problem. This is a simple issue of mental health. Like, shouldn't all people this should not just be a PPD thing, is what I'm saying. I think it should be any type of mental illness that can get you to that point, historically speaking. This isn't a man-woman thing. And you've got a very capable man defending her with all of his heart, in that courtroom. But yeah, I mean, so I would encourage anybody who thinks that my opinion matters one fucking bit, just keep sticking to, don't listen to the fucking TikTokers. Don't listen to the fucking, just keep supporting the same people that you guys have already been comfortable with and grown the trust of the last couple of years. People like the Matas, people like Melanie Little, people like, and I say Defense Diaries, I mean the Matas. Melanie Little, people like Justice Serve TV, Michael and Linda Bryan. I mean, stick with all that stuff, Brother Counsel's dropping videos. These are the kind of people that you want to listen to when it comes to this stuff, man. And there's people who just come along and what they do. Now, I'm gonna while I can just kind of transition to the next subject here. Nice and easy, nonchalantly. I'm gonna discuss the interview Sunday night that Aiden had with this Dave, whatever the fuck his last name was. I already forgot. But that guy fucking sucks. And I get Aiden. Aiden gave him a lot of grace. But I think that the interview was good. Yeah, Wedge, thank you so much. I think the interview was good for Aiden, not so much for that dude at all. And I don't think Aiden was out to make him fucking to humiliate the guy. Aiden was just asking him valid questions that he, for some reason, was making some very mysterious, deliberate effort to avoid answering and giving straight answers to, just on his basic opinion. Like it was like his the equivalent to him pleading the fifth on an interview. It was really weird. So we're gonna go over that a little bit because I have a lot of thoughts on it. Let me just get it. Yeah, because this is, dude, I was in Aiden's chat and I'm going to let the chat roll too, bro. Because I was in Aiden's chat and I was reading the room and I was like, yo, this chat is fucking brutal, bro. I think I even said that. And later on, I just like, the more it went on, I was like, yo, this guy fucking, dude, I don't understand this shit. Like, I'm going to explain. Yeah, there's no way I'm buying that guy's book. An excerpt that he played out of it, I think it was when he did the bus stop live this morning. I was like, wow. Like, it was clear what his opinion was on Aiden. You know what I mean? Like, it was really weird. Like, it was clear based on the book that this guy wrote in a book, he published in a book, that this is how he felt about Aiden. And then, he was just so, oh God, yeah, that guy grossed me out, bro. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to speed it up because, well, maybe I won't. We got time.
Without further ado, I'm going to bring Dave up now. He's backstage. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
What's up? How are you, man?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Am I too close here? Do I look like a?
No, good? You're good. Good to go. You look
How's
soft.
it going, man?
Good. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I follow your work. You've been following your work for a long time, way back to my Herald days. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I listened to your interview with Billy Bush.
See, like, this is his attempt to be professional courtesy between one journalist to another. Blah 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 blah. Shut the fuck up! You're full of shit.
And you mentioned Monica Cannon Grant and other stories that I've written. So you understand that this is not the first story for me, Karen Reed. This is not.
No, and you were on my radar way back when you first started Turtle, when you first started the whole thing, because, it became pretty clear a long time ago that the kind of platform you had was going to be competition for the mainstream news. And I knew
What's
that
up,
way back
Scott?
when I was at the Boston Herald in the mid 2000s. And, when I saw you do the stuff on Monica Cannon Grant, that was right during the whole George Floyd reckoning, and the media wasn't touching that. So I did think that was some good journalism.
Guys, that's not funny. Don't make fun of his eyebrows, dude. He fucking was trying to do a fucking 1966 Batman Adam West impression, and then somebody slapped him on the back, and he got stuck like that. And this is a condition that a lot of kids go through, okay? Have you ever seen One Crazy Summer, people? It could have been a lot worse.
That one. And I thought the work you did on the Rachel Rollins one was excellent as well.
Well, thank you.
And there's been others. I reference a lot of them in the book, and I think you've done some good work on those cases for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to read the book yet. I went on vacation from July 11th to 18th.
This guy's so relieved right now that he didn't read the book, because then he would know that he completely and totally made it Aiden out to be a psychopath who's harassing innocent victims.
Message you and ask you, but I saw the book wasn't released until July 26th, because that would have been the perfect. I never read except when I'm at the beach.
Yeah, I know it's fine. I would have got your copy if you wanted, but sorry about that.
No, but I'll definitely get around to reading it. And so yeah, some people have read it.
Yep.
And you've talked about it, and I've heard bits and pieces of it. So I'm not that educated. So first of all, let's start from the top. How'd you get commissioned to do this book?
Well, I was a reporter at the Boston Herald for 14 years. I've been a reporter for over 20 years, newspapers, and I hosted some radio over the years and freelanced and stuff. And I've written several books. My first book was about the marathon bombings, and I wrote that with Casey Sherman, who's another author and a good friend of mine. And that became the movie Patriots Day, the Mark Wahlberg movie. So once I did that, I was out of the Daily News racket.
Now, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I believe strongly that I remember hearing Aiden say that he hated the movie Patriots Day. It was completely inaccurate. It's completely full of shit. I might be wrong, but I feel like I heard Aiden say that. I feel like I heard Aiden say that.
I was writing books, and I've been writing books full time ever since. And this is my 8th book. So, when this happened in January of 2022, I started getting calls pretty quickly from people, like you did, that were calling and saying something's rotten in Denmark here. People like, these people involved here. The first calls I was getting was about Chris Albert and how he was a selectman, and he had this incident where
in 2022 you were getting messages like that?
I would say probably late 2022, early 23 maybe.
So after or before I started writing about it?
Probably around the time, around the time. But people that knew the town well and knew the players involved said there's more than meets the eye here. That's basically what was relayed to me. And I was kind of thinking about doing a book about it back then in 23, and I tabled it, and I ended up doing my last book, which was about the boxer Marvin Hagler. Totally different stories.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Brockton, so that was kind of a passion project that I really wanted to do. And so I finished that. And when I finished that,
did you get everything wrong on that one too?
I had a talk with my agent, and she was like, "Look, you're one of the New England true crime guys, Boston true crime. The story is right in your wheelhouse. I think you should do it." So that's when I started doing it, and that's what happened.
So you first messaged me, and I looked back on our messages. It was like early 2025, and you told me that you were doing a book, and you were interested in talking to me about it. Did you know much about the trial at the time? Did you watch the first trial?
Yeah, because I was thinking about doing it. That was I'm bad with dates, admittedly. But I was I definitely watched the entire first trial. I went to some of those I attended some of the first trial, and I attended a lot of those pre-trial proceedings before the first trial when I was first thinking about doing the book. And that's what I just said. I tabled it, did the Marvin Hagler
Let
book.
me see what the
After that was done, the second trial was coming up. And that's when me and my agent said, you know what, it's probably time to try to do this book. And that's when I reached out to you.
Mr. Breeze 69 says this guy has no soul behind his eyes.
I reached out to a lot of people, and I wanted to talk to everyone I could for the book, to try and, that's what I do with all my books.
So that's brings me to my next question. Who did you interview in this book? I mean, I've listened to portions of it, of the audio book.
Yep.
And first of all, who did you speak to? And then I have a couple questions.
I mean, I've spoken to a lot of people on and off the record, but I met with Karen a couple of times. She didn't want to talk on the record because she's, probably going to write her own book, and she should, and
when did you meet with her? After the trial?
No, before. It was before the first trial. Yeah.
You spoke with her before the first trial.
Thank you, Nancy Joe, for the Venmo. I appreciate it.
Oh,
I did. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
And then Alan Jackson, obviously.
Wait, before the first trial?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I was going to do the book before. I was going to do the book before the first trial ever happened. That's when I was going to start writing the book.
Oh.
The first time, and then I bailed on it. Did the Marvin Hagler book.
Oh, okay.
Then I came back and I did the book after the first trial.
Okay.
For the second trial.
And she would only speak to you off the record.
What's that?
She would only speak to you off the record.
We met as a casual meeting to basically meet pitch her to try to talk about talking to me for the book. And she met with her people, talked to Alan, and they decided they didn't want to. I think they're doing their own projects. I think a lot of people, I think you probably are. And
I wonder if was this like now I'm starting to speculate because I'm looking at his timeline here, right? And he met with, according to him, Karen Reed, Alan Jackson, and they were like, nah, this is too, maybe the timing's bad, whatever. Right? But then later on, he says, well, I really wanted to tell the story from the O'Keefe family perspective, because I don't think that is being told. I think John's story wasn't being told. So, but I wonder, if he's meeting with, Mandy, thank you so much. Sending good vibes from Atlanta. Appreciate that, Mandy, for the $10 Venmo. Something's fishy about this guy. Like I don't go to that place like as quick as you guys do. Like I just it's funny though. Sorry, I was looking at that chat.
I think she should, and I think you should. I think the more written about this situation, the better from everybody's perspective. That's always what I've thought. I would have loved to have talked to you more for the book. I would have loved to have talked to her more for the book,
Mm-hmm.
But I watched all the trials, covered a lot of the proceedings, spoke to a lot of different people. I did spend a good amount of time with the O'Keefe family, people in the family, Paul O'Keefe, other folks in the family.
Because maybe Karen and AJ already knew that he had some sort of agenda with his book, or they were like, nah, man, the timing's bad. It's probably better we don't fucking tell you anything yet. And then he got all bitter about it and then decided to go, then I'm just gonna take the side of the people who fucking think she's guilty. And come on, man. That's petty, that's even petty for me, bro. That's come on.
Talked to a lot of the lawyers involved. I know the DA's office. I know a lot of people that were involved
Which
on both
lawyers?
sides of the case.
Which lawyers did you talk to?
Some on the record, some off. So I'm not going to really get into naming names here. But look, anyone that knows me, my track record speaks for itself, Aiden. And I've been doing this a long time, and I do my homework. And
did you talk with Hank Brennan?
I'm not going to reveal all my sources. I tried to talk to everybody involved in this case at some point or another. Some people.
This guy is just he's full on trust me, bro. That's his whole thing. Trust me, bro. I wrote a lot of books. Okay? I wrote a lot of books. And so you ask anybody around town about me, okay? And they'll tell you Dave is the truth.
People talk to me. Some people talked off the record. Some people talked on the record. I don't have a full list for you, but I've talked to a lot of people.
Did you speak with Hank Brennan?
I tried to. He didn't want to talk to me.
And Cameron's attorneys, you couldn't talk to?
I talked to him at the courthouse, the proceedings and stuff, and I have had some conversations with them over the years. I never talked to David Yannetti.
Okay.
But I've talked to Alan Jackson many times.
What about Adam Lally?
No.
Okay, so none of the actual lawyers.
No, the prosecutors wouldn't make themselves available. Mike Morrissey wouldn't talk to me. Adam Lally wouldn't talk to me. Hank Brennan wouldn't talk to me.
What would you ask Michael Morrissey if you could ask him anything?
I'd ask him why he charged Karen Reed with second-degree murder. I'd ask how that decision was made and what it was based on, and why they decided to make that change in the case. Because that to me was what just escalated everything.
What do you, okay, so you think that a second-degree murder charge is too much, but a manslaughter charge isn't? Is that what you're saying?
No, I just think that let's say you think that
right there, that's a big red flag here. Because it's like, dude, well, what do you mean? Because right there, he's basically indicating I'm still entertaining the possibility that it was an accident. Like, this guy doesn't want to hear anything from ARCA, from the federal investigation. None of that shit matters. He just wants to, go the route of, the way to sit on the fence with this one is you can't, in case she's guilty, you can't take her side. But, maybe it was an accident. Yeah. Okay. That's just lazy. It's fucking lazy is what it is.
Karen Reed was responsible for this, okay? If you think that, to prove that she intended to back into John and kill him is a much steeper climb than to say it was an accident.
I don't think it is at all. I got to be honest with you. I as somebody who believes Karen Reed's 1,000% innocent, I don't buy that.
No,
you don't accidentally back into someone 24 miles an hour. Either it never happened or it was intentional murder.
Right.
I don't buy the
I
whole
think
accident
there is a scenario where it was an accident, where if she did go backwards and she was pissed off and screaming, they're fighting and yelling at each other, and she speeds backwards, doesn't know she hit him. She didn't.
Yet nobody heard a fucking thing, did they? Nobody heard anything. Nobody saw John laying out on the lawn. Huh. Right? Could have been an accident. They could have been yelling and screaming. And I'm not trying to be. Listen, we all heard the voicemails. If Karen Reed was screaming at John outside of 34 Fairview, witnesses would have heard it. At 12:30 at night, witnesses would have heard it. Not just Brian Albert, the members of the 34 Fairview that evening. No, not just them, but neighbors. People would have heard. We've heard what Karen Reed sounds like when she's screaming. We've all heard it. So, I mean, somebody would have woke up. Somebody would have said, I heard something. But none of that happened. None of that happened. It's the mysterious SUV SUV fucking that bites people, you know? I mean, the whole thing's ridiculous. They didn't even get into the injuries, I don't think. Like, the injuries are more than enough to make you go, come on, man. Like, you're just useless if you're not asking questions. So, and this guy didn't seem to really have any questions.
Mean to hit him. It's not like she said,
Why would you go backwards?
I know he got out of the car. Maybe she was backing up to yell at him. I don't know. I wasn't there that night, Aiden. I don't know.
100 feet. I mean, like if
You see how defensive he is immediately, like where Aiden is going, well, let's talk about it. Like, what the fuck do you think you're doing up here? You want to sell your book? Sell your book, dude. Like, come up here and fucking let's have a discussion. I've got 5,000 people in this chat watching you. Thousands and thousands are going to catch the replay. So why don't you just watch it? Or why don't you just like engage with me here and like tell people what you think? Why not? So it's just bizarre that he's just like completely avoiding it and getting defensive about it too. Like, yeah, oh wait, you know, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. So, you know, you're just gonna have to ask somebody who was there. I wasn't there. Whatever. That's really fucking bizarre. You wrote a book on this shit, dude. Every person who I've ever seen who wrote a book about a crime, when they're on Oprah plugging that shit, or they're on the fucking View plugging that shit, they're going, well, I don't think this happened. The timeline dictates this. You know, I've always believed that if this thing happened, I don't see how this could have happened. Blah, 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 blah. And they get into it and there's a conversation. And most of the time they lead the conversation. Aiden is fucking stringing this guy along. And I'm not saying that against Aiden. What I'm saying is he's doing the guy a favor. He's leading him, he's carrying him basically through the show. And he's trying every effort to engage in a conversation with this guy, where one of the best things that this guy could do to sell a book about Karen Reed and John O'Keefe is to fucking engage into a fucking heated conversation with the guy that he's on the channel with right now. How's that not going to sell his fucking book? This is bizarre.
Because that's what the Commonwealth says. The Commonwealth says that she backed up 100 feet at 24 miles an hour. All right. Did you happen to see my test when I went in reverse? I went to Fairview Road and I went in reverse as fast as I could. I hit the gas as fast as I could, going in reverse.
I think I've seen that clip. I've seen a lot of your clips.
Yep.
Pretty
So
sure
I gunned it, and I couldn't go faster than 19 miles an hour. It was impossible to reach that speed in that short amount of a distance. But more importantly, when you do
Were you
it,
driving a Lexus?
I was driving a Lexus and
SUV?
an SUV. Yes. Same engine, I believe, as the LX. And but my point was going 19 miles an hour in reverse feels like you're going 150 miles an hour forward. It is a roller coaster. And when I did that for the first time, I'm like, oh, if she did this, which I don't believe she did, if she did this, there is no way possible that is an accident. That is the most intentional thing. You don't accidentally floor it that hard and then hit somebody.
Yeah,
right?
no, that's interesting. Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, look, but that's you asked me a question. That's what I would ask Mike Morrissey, why that decision was made. I'd like to know why he decided to elevate it to a second-degree murder.
All right,
you know, because he didn't have, you know, he didn't. What's the motive? They had an argument. You know, I mean,
yeah.
People said they were getting along at the bar. They fought earlier that day, but people said they were getting along at the bar. So
They were.
changed,
Well,
you know?
someone wasn't getting along with them at the bar. Did you see the waterfall video?
Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
I think there's no sound. So I don't know.
Would you see Brian Higgins being held
Yes.
back?
Bro, come on. You don't need sound to determine that there was a fucking conflict taking place from Brian Higgins. I can tell you basically what was said. I can tell you already. Just because these guys are the most textbook obvious fucking little fucking towel snapping homoerotic fucking jocks that you textbook fucking cliche that you could fucking think of ever. Now, even if I'm wrong about my theory as to what led up to the aggressive moments from Brian Higgins towards John O'Keefe just before John O'Keefe danced a jig with a beer in his hand as a response, even if I'm wrong about that, the fucking aggressive shit from Brian Higgins towards John O'Keefe before he danced a jig still fucking happened. So I don't want to hear that shit. Like, what are you, fucking dumb? Are you blind? You're telling me that you can't determine that this guy clearly had a problem, that Chris Albert clearly was trying to diffuse the situation? Like, and then Brian Albert was like, no, let it be. Give me a fucking break, dude. It is, it's plain as day.
By Brian Albert?
I do. I've seen that. Yes.
What do you think of that?
I don't know the guy, so I don't know if that's how he is all the time, but it was a piece of the evidence in the case, you know?
Yeah. Do you think that
as a piece
Brian
of evidence in the
Higgins
case
and others should have been considered suspects and treated like that, as opposed to just they were never treated as suspects ever?
I don't know. I'm not a police officer. I'm not an investigator.
Bro, this just one weak ass deflective response after another. Like,
I'm a journalist, and
but you're a smart guy.
Yeah,
right.
No, look,
I
think that more questions should have been asked of a lot of people involved, but armchair quarterbacking, 4 years later is a lot easier than doing it when it happened that night. That night, certainly they, in my opinion, from all I know about the case, they didn't have any reason to treat anyone else as a suspect that night. They could have asked more questions.
Well,
sure, they could have done
what
that.
about
I'm
the
sure
next-
there's
what? Because, dude, everyone fucking knows, dude. Everyone knows. Like, just fucking forget. Don't forget that, because it's actually really important. This is actually why you would treat them as suspects, because John O'Keefe was found on the property of 34 Fairview, dead. He couldn't be bothered to come out of his house when John was discovered. Why? He couldn't be bothered, right? But here's the thing, is every fucking case, and if this guy is a fucking true crime journalist, as he claims to be, and he's written so many fucking #1 bestsellers about true crime cases, then you don't see a pattern in typical investigations that take place where you eliminate everyone as a suspect first. You might even have someone in mind, but as a detective, as a police officer, as an investigator, whose job it is to testify in court and address a jury and a judge and answer the questions of court officers. That is the biggest part of your job. Because your arrest means shit unless you could fucking put them away in court. That's just how it works. So you're going to tell me that these experienced investigators had no reason to eliminate everyone, even if they had Karen Read in mind, just for the sake of making sure that they can prove their case against Karen Read. If they're so sure she did it, then just eliminate everyone else. Hey, do you mind if we just, we got to go through the house. We got to do this. We got to do that. We don't want these things to come back and bite us in the ass in court. Barbara, thank you so much for the $10 Venmo gift. This is what any cop would do. Michael Proctor, Brian Tully, Yuri Buchanan, all of these people absolutely should have simply been like, hey, especially if they are friends, especially if they get along, especially if, you know what I'm saying? What we need to do, first of all, we need to get somebody else on this case. Because what ended up happening is everything made them look guilty. The way that the cops failed to investigate the McAlberts made the McAlberts look more guilty. I mean, let's just be honest. So why not just cover those bases if you truly believe that Karen Read actually did this? If you actually believe that, then why wouldn't you cover those bases? But they didn't do that. They avoided it. It was bizarre. And yet the O'Keefes aren't angry with the Massachusetts State Police or the Canton Police Department in any way. Interesting.
A lot of people that wish they did do more that night to dot some I's and cross some T's, but they didn't.
What about the next day on January 29th? Throughout the day, I mean, do you I did notice in your Billy Bush interview, you said that the sources in the DA's office, I don't know if you misspoke when you said this.
Yeah, I've seen this on Twitter. I didn't mean to imply that they found pieces of the taillight there that night. They found them
That
eventually.
morning.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that morning when the body was found. I misspoke there, but
Okay.
But they did know that the taillight was broken. They have, and again, this is well documented from the trial and people I've interviewed, other things like that, that they believed that she was making some sort of confession, or at least that's what's been reported since, that she was saying, I hit him. Did I hit him? She was inebriated. She was in custody, and they see a broken taillight, and they have no evidence that John O'Keefe went in the house. That's all true. So at that point, they don't have enough to get a search warrant to go in the house, and they don't have any reason to interview anyone else as a suspect.
Why wouldn't they simply ask the Alberts if they can look through the house? I mean, we know, he's found in your property. It would just look a lot better if we could just go through the house, check everything out, sign it off, But no, they didn't have probable cause. Well, okay, but if they have nothing to hide, they're just innocent victims. Why aren't they cooperating with every possible, why isn't Brian Albert going, dude, I know how this works, man. Like I don't want to have to deal with this shit at all. Do whatever you got to do to get this shit, away from my house being an issue. Do what you got to do. And I feel like that's what he did. This is just how they did it. Because if they had gone through the house, they probably would have found something. Because if John wasn't hit by an SUV or by a vehicle, then John must have went into the house. And call me crazy, but my money's on the one person who is acting aggressively towards the victim minutes before he is said to be killed. On video.
How do you know they didn't have enough to get a search warrant to go in the house?
Because I've been doing this a long time, and you need probable cause to get a search
Oh,
warrant.
I
They
know
don't-
what you. No, they have a dead body on the front lawn.
Yeah,
Right.
but they had no
Right.
probable cause to believe that he was ever in that house.
Have
No
you
one
ever
ever
had?
told them.
Have you ever had your house searched by the police? I have, and I've read the warrant that was used to search my house,
Mhm.
and the probable cause to search my house for evidence of witness intimidation was the fact that I did my show in my house, and that's all it took. And they just said, a judge, as somebody speaking from experience, I can tell you that judges will sign any search warrant the police give to them, and they say will say probable cause. They took my phones, my computer, and searched my entire house. Went through my kids' sock drawers, pulled every bed apart, looked through every single thing in the house. And what were they looking for? They were looking for my sources. They wanted to know who.
My sauces. Oh my God. JoJo's Grave Concern just gifted 5 memberships. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Is telling Turtle Boy this information, who is giving him this stuff.
Yeah.
And so
Well, I write about that in the book, and I think I've treated you very fairly in the book, and I think that what you went through, I don't think a lot of civil libertarians would think that was okay, and clearly you've gotten a lot of support on that from the ACLU, I believe.
no, they
Like, he's not informed on, like, he keeps getting shit wrong throughout this whole interview. Like, one wrong thing after the other.
sitting this one out.
Like,
Okay.
how are you treating anyone fairly if you're not speaking truthfully on them, if you're not doing the proper research to discuss their full situation? Why can't you simply do that? If you're treating someone fairly, wouldn't that be the bare minimum of treating someone fairly when you write about them? What's up, homie? It's good to see you, buddy.
So, but I think a lot of journalists don't like that happened to you, and
Really, what journalists don't like it? I've never.
I don't think that your house should have been tossed. That all the evidence that they needed was online. They don't have to toss you.
In other words, I watch the stuff that you do online, and I think that it's enough for you to be put in jail. That's how that translated to me. Right? I mean, a lot of journalists didn't think. He prefixed it by like a lot of journalists don't like what happened to you. What journalists? Well, I don't think that they should have tossed your house. But that's because I think that all the evidence that they had was online. They could just watch your shit. They could just watch how you fucking journalist. And so that should be enough to throw you in jail. That's what this guy thinks. Clearly, how else am I supposed to take that?
Your house for that and go through your kids' sock drawers,
Right,
unless they're
right.
looking for something else. So I'm not
Right.
going to defend that. And I'm not here to defend that. So.
Well, when they came to my house and they had that.
But sir, you're not a cop. I thought that's irresponsible for you as a journalist to say what cops would do because you don't know what a cop's job actually is because you're not a cop. You're not qualified to say what's just and what isn't when it comes to how the cops execute these charges against Aiden Carney. Right? But it's convenient right now because you're talking to 5,000 of his supporters to say, hey, well, I don't think they should have tossed your house. Hey, why? How would you know what the proper way to deal with charging Aiden Carney with what you think is enough evidence to put him away with those for those charges all online where you could just watch it online?
Warrant, that was the first thing I thought of. I should have thrown a dead cop on my front lawn because that's like kryptonite to them. They will not go in your house if there's a dead cop on your front lawn. But if you do a YouTube show, good luck to you.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
just
no,
kind of-
listen, I hear you, and you've been through a lot. So, I like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I know the rules that police have to follow. I talked to a billion.
But you're not a cop. You don't. Hey, listen, I'm not a cop, so whatever the cops do,
cops about this case, and every single one, not a single one has ever told me that they had a reason to go in that house. Not a single one. So
why would they tell you
Yeah,
that?
if you have a cop that will go on the record saying,
Why would they tell you that? Why would they admit to botching an investigation when other evidence dictates that they were actively, deliberately botching an investigation?
oh my God, they had probable cause. They should have got a warrant and gone in that house. I'd love to hear it.
Have you met Sean McDonough?
I don't know Sean McDonough.
Oh, he's a legend. Yeah, so he's a former DEA agent. I mean,
He's no Jay Brill, but
I've met many cops who have told me that there's plenty of probable cause to go inside that house. I mean, he was invited there,
dude,
right, by them, right?
bro, this case is what fucking that specific detail of the case is what set off Brian specifically from the LV cops. If I remember correctly, I could be mistaken about that too. But I know that particular detail really set him off. I know that it really got under his skin. He felt like, dude, we're going in that house. Like, we're going in that house. We need to find out why there's a dead cop in that lawn. We're covering every base. We're going to make sure that whatever happens in the court of law and whoever is responsible is held responsible. It's what we do. There's a dead cop on the lawn. We're blocking off the whole block. The whole block is what he said. Nobody's getting in or out. Like, him and Gonzo agreed. I remember this clearly. I think we discussed it.
That was the last place he was seen. Karen Reed claims that she dropped him off and he went inside the house, right?
well,
So
that's not what she originally said. She said she dropped him off and left and never saw him again.
See, this is where this is where this guy, now he's like, he's got all the facts, right? He definitely knows where Karen Reed contradicted herself. He definitely knows that. Because what he's talking about is stupid bullshit that was played by Hank Brennan to fucking convince the jury that she was inconsistent with her story. When it's like stupid little fucking details. It doesn't even matter. Aiden actually takes he does a really good job right here.
Her story evolved over time.
What it said to who though?
I mean, in different interviews that she's given,
Now-
in documentaries and things like that. She didn't originally say she never told the cops that he went in the house. She
Sure.
never said.
Well, who's the cop that wrote the report?
The original report was that
Yeah.
Sarif guy, right?
No, it was Michael Proctor.
No, the
Mike-
original incident report was written by a Canton police officer named Scott Sarif.
You mean Steve Sarif?
Steve Sarif.
And yes, but Michael Proctor's report is
Yeah.
the one that quoted Karen Reed.
Yeah.
And so is Michael Proctor reputable?
No, certainly not.
Yeah. So
no.
anything Michael
Yeah.
Proctor says, you have to throw out
Yeah.
now. So if Michael Proctor,
Yeah, well,
says,
I mean,
Right.
she has given
Right.
different versions of what happened, and again, I remember, people remember things differently. Time passes and you think of things, you remember things that you didn't remember originally, or vice versa. Your memory comes and goes with time. So, she has said she dropped him off and left and never saw him again. She said that she watched him walk up to the house, and she's also said that she watched him go up to the door and look into the house. She said,
Well,
all
what
those-
about Ryan Nagel, Heather Max, and Ricky D'Antano, who are all behind Cam Reed?
Yeah, I know. They all said they never saw him. I get it.
They all
Yeah.
said he wasn't in the car.
Right.
So where could he be?
I don't know. I
But
mean,
I think you do.
Right. Because you're not a fucking retard. Like, you have a fucking brain and you could do fucking first grade math. If he's not in the vehicle and the taillight isn't fucking broken, then he must be in the fucking house. Because the only way he'd be lying on the fucking lawn is if the taillight was broken. No. So he must have been in the house.
Where could he be?
Well,
If not for the car.
Yeah.
Where else could he be?
I don't listen. I don't know. I know what happened in court, and I know what you just said. That's what they testified to. But
Well,
I wasn't out
I
there that
don't-
night, so I don't know.
I mean, I don't think he was taking a leak in the bushes. I mean, or they
I
probably
have
would have
no
seen
idea
it.
what he was doing. I wasn't there. I don't know.
All right. But here's my thing, right? So, like, one of the things that you mentioned on your interview with Billy Bush, something about like, and you and Billy both said it was that like I forget the exact quote, but it was something to the extent of, Turtle Boy is kind of crossing the line, right?
Mhm.
And he mentioned the rolling rally and the lacrosse game. And what did you think was like crossing a line?
No, I don't. I mean, when I'm talking about crossing a line, I'm saying crossing a line of traditional journalism. You don't play by the same rules as a reporter at the Boston Herald or WCVB Channel 5. The things that you write and say, I could have never gone into the Boston Herald when I was a reporter there. And I've said in many interviews, I get asked about you all the time. And my answer is always, he's got great journalistic instincts and he's done some great work. And I think at one point in your life, you would have made a great Herald reporter. If back in the day, I think you would have been really a good.
This is so fucking condescending right here, by the way. This is so condescending. Because here's the thing. Is this guy is talking to Aiden like he's this top journalist, right? Not like Aiden is this top journalist. He's talking like he's a top journalist. And he's like, I feel like you could have been at my level at one point. Whereas this guy, I don't know if he realizes it, but he doesn't have 5,000 people watching him right now. I mean, he does, but they're not watching him for him. They'd be there whether he was there or not. They'd be there whether Dave was there or not. Now, this is up to 32,548 views. 32,548 views this is up to now. Like, these people are not watching because of Dave. Those people would be there anyway. So it's really interesting that this guy is talking to Aiden like, I feel like you could have been doing what I was doing. No, motherfucker, I circumvented your whole bullshit. I had the balls to ask the right people the right questions. They turned out to be powerful enough to where if they didn't like it, they could have me charged with a fucking crime. And that just got me a whole lot more support than I already had. Like, That's because I had the balls to go up and ask questions that you would have never had the balls to ask working for the Boston Herald, because your bosses would have fired you for it. Because they would have been too afraid of getting sued. So don't talk like you're somehow above this guy. He actually has the balls to do real journalism, which doesn't seem to exist in your realm anymore. That's all this is. So no, you don't get to talk to that guy just because you went to college like a knob to get to do the very little that you currently do.
Good Herald reporter, but I certainly couldn't broadcast the witnesses' phone numbers and addresses and invite people to go there with a bullhorn.
Well, I didn't broadcast their phone. It's in the court documents.
Yeah, but you put them on your show, and I mean that.
Look, right, I shared a public court doc.
I'm not going to litigate your pending criminal case. You asked me a question about crossing a line. That's something I could never do. I would have to blurt that out to put that up on a screen. I couldn't get away with that. I would get fired as a trained, seasoned veteran journalist.
No, not as a trained, seasoned veteran journalist. That's you dressing up something very simple. That's you having a boss. That's you answering to someone else, telling you what news is and what it isn't. That is the difference between you and the person that you're speaking to, because the person that you're speaking to doesn't have those problems. And the result from that is that the truth came out when it otherwise would not have. Stephanie Patterson, thank you so much. Will Spitting Facts. Y'all better hear this. Thank you, Stephanie Patterson. I mean, I don't see how this could be argued with. As a seasoned veteran, blah, blah, blah. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Because you actually sound worse as a seasoned veteran that you don't have the balls to express your opinion. And you don't have the balls to express how you feel about the very shit that you wrote in a book. It makes no sense.
That's the line to me. Now, maybe you beat the case, maybe you don't. That's up to you and your lawyers. Good luck. But if you're asking me about journalism ethics, you can't do that. It's against the rules.
So
for journalism, but it's not for you because you're your own boss. You can do whatever you want. You live and die by what you report.
Right.
So I had bosses and editors and publishers that would say, "What are you doing, Dave Wedge? You're fired. You can't do that."
But here's the thing, though. That's not true because this.
See, that's resentment. That's resentment. Like, this is him trying to explain to him, this is why I can't talk to you. This is why I can't be honest on your show. He's desperately trying to let Aiden know this. Like, I have bosses. And he's using it as an excuse. And he's finally being somewhat honest. Like, he started dressing it up with, oh, well, I'm a seasoned veteran who can't do that. No. You're a guy with a boss. You're a guy with a boss. That's it. You're a guy whose fate belongs to someone else to dictate based on what you say, which is ironically what the First Amendment was designed to protect. Like, the First Amendment was designed to protect journalists who had the balls to ask tough questions to people like government officials. Yeah. Write parody pieces about government officials. Yeah. This is what made America great. Dude, remember when SNL was unbiased? You know? Remember that? Like, remember when they didn't have an agenda? They just made fun of whoever the fuck was president? Didn't care? I mean, and the mainstream had Karen Reed convicted. Absolutely. I agree. And his following reflects this, Richie. His following reflects this. Like, he's sitting there condescending, talking down to Aiden. Like, oh, that's cute little guy that you're going around and being a journalist. Woo! But he's getting more done. You just saw something that might sell books. And you went the laziest route to create this book and sell it. The irony again, I'll make this point again. The irony is that he's on with the one person that might actually sell his book. Like, this conversation could have been so provocative that it would have made people, whether they like him or not, whether they agree with him or not, want to go out and buy his book. What's up, Rebecca? Good to see you. Like, this is so funny to me. Like, if he would have just had the balls to have been like, dude, whatever. This could have been his move, his first step, that leap to independent journalism. Right there. Independent journalism.
Document that I got the phone numbers off of was published as a PDF in several media publications because it's a public court filing. It's a literal public court filing, right?
Then if they put it online with those unredacted, then they should be in trouble too.
Okay.
You can't do that. I never did it, and I wouldn't do it.
So
that's the line when when I'm talking about crossing lines, that you ask the question, that's what I'm talking about. To me, that's a line.
as a journalist,
right?
So this guy's attitude is basically, this is how I'm reading it, because he's like, they should have gotten in trouble too. Meaning that Aiden shouldn't have done that. But since he doesn't have a boss to hold him accountable, like I have a boss that's going to hold me accountable if I do something like that, well, then somebody should hold him accountable. And if it's got to be the law, then it's got to be the law. Fuck what his rights are. Fuck his First Amendment. Fuck that shit. Nuh-uh. If I got to answer to a boss, then so be it. If his boss happens to be the government, then he should have to answer to them or go to jail. If I have to answer to a boss. Because I don't have the balls to be the kind of independent journalist that he is. Rebecca, remember for 2 months? That guy squandered the opportunity, dolt. Right. Totally. Like, this guy is a shining example because what he's showing you is how scared he is. What he's showing you is how afraid he really is and how that fear is affecting his life monetarily. I'm trying to tell you. That is what he's showing you right now. That how he could have absolutely just fucking engaged in like a full-on like, yo, without, I mean, why can't, if he wrote a book, but I guess he has to answer to his publisher. I guess he has to answer to his agent. So what's the point of writing a book, man? I don't know what, maybe I'm just naive, dude. Like, I feel like it's sad that your job is part of your job is stifling yourself. under the guise of telling the truth. I feel like that's sad as fuck.
But
you're free to do that.
Right. Okay. So I get what you're saying. So,
Yeah.
but what about as an activist? Because I'm also an activist.
As an
And
activist, I mean, look, you can. I don't know the rules on activism. I'm not an activist, but I know that the world is a crazy place right now with social media. And you can dox
I'll give
anybody.
you that. I'll give you that this is against the rules of ethics for journalism. Totally give you that. Right. That's not the issue here, though. The issue here is it against the law? Is it against the law to publish someone's phone number?
I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't read the law of witness intimidation that you're being charged under, and I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. And as I said, I don't want to litigate your criminal case. That
speaks volumes. Because right there, he's basically admitting that he didn't do the bare minimum. I remember when I went over Turtle Boy's charges, the first fucking thing I did was Google that law. Chapter 28, 13B. The first fucking thing I did was Google that law. I mean, it was as easy. I did it on a live stream. It's back there. You could go back and watch it. You will see me absolutely take 10 seconds to Google that law and determine simply that that law is unconstitutional. Having passed the 3rd grade, I determined that that law was unconstitutional.
That's for you and your lawyers to handle. I wish you luck in that. I'm not sitting here saying that you broke the law because I haven't read the law that close, so I don't know.
So what are citizens? What do you think citizens?
Just the fact that this dude isn't outraged with what's happening to him tells me everything. Like, why wouldn't you, if you wrote a book on the Karen Read case, and I don't know how many times I've said it, but I've said it many times, you cannot properly tell the Karen Read story without telling the Turtle Boy story as well. Cannot be done properly. So if he wrote this book and didn't go into details about what happened with Turtle Boy, this book isn't even worth reading. It's really not. It is really not. What makes this case as interesting as it does is the fact that this guy went out of his fucking way to expose the very details that showed why we should be asking more questions about this case. Right? And then he was charged criminally for doing so. And it was meticulous. They really, really, really waited and put a case together. Like, it was crazy how calculated this was.
Should do or are supposed to do when they see an injustice happening that the government is partaking in, right? And the government is allowing to happen. What else as American citizens can people do besides protest and show up?
Journalism, reporting, which you've done a combination thereof. And
well, I'm talking about citizens, like regular people. What,
yeah.
Right.
I mean, have their voices heard, demand answers.
Where? What do you mean? Be specific. What can they do?
I mean, are we talking about this case in particular?
In general, if you see an injustice, if you see the government covering something up. What
I mean,
as-
we're seeing it every day with ICE. We're seeing protests all over the
we
country
are
right
we
now.
are. Do you think
Right.
there should be
That's
You
the
think-
power of protest, and it happens on both sides.
and so anti-ICE protests, or how about the BLM protests, right? Or
Yeah,
how about
same.
even better example, these protests that happened outside of the Supreme Court justices' houses. Remember
Yeah.
those?
Yes, yeah.
Who was anyone arrested for those?
I don't know, but there were reporters that were arrested for going to Michelle Wu's house, I believe. I'm pretty
Those
sure
weren't- There was
I'm protesters. There were protesters that were arrested for going to her house. I'm pretty sure.
yes, they were.
Again,
summoned.
I'm not. Look,
they were
I'm
not
not-
charged with witness intimidation.
I'm not. I don't. I'm not your lawyer, Aiden. I'm not here to say whether or not you should or shouldn't have been criminally charged. I'm a storyteller.
Okay. This guy just copping out. I'm not. He's so afraid of touching this subject. He's becoming more and more upset with Aiden trying to get a so-called journalist's opinion on what's happening to a journalist. But the problem is, this guy's showing you exactly what the real problem that he has really is, which is, I've said this before many, many, many times. Aiden represents everything that guys like him fear. Aiden represents everything that people like Christina Rex and Sue O'Connell, all of them fear, which is independent media. Independent media scares the shit out of mainstream media. Because how are you going to stop a guy like that? Well, you charge him with a crime. Same way you make him way more popular. And then, how are you going to stop all of the people that guys like him inspire? That's what scares the shit. It is in his best interest to sit on his platform and discredit Aiden, condescend him, patronize him. It is in his best interest to do that because Aiden represents the one thing that he truly has to fear, is that notion that I have every right to be a journalist just like he does. Why the fuck do I have to play by these rules? I'm protected under the First Amendment to basically say whatever the fuck I want. Why am I not exercising this right with everything that I possibly have and inspiring more people to do it? People like that scare the shit out of people who are like, well, I'll just go to college and I'll read cue cards. I'll go get a degree. Because all that degree does is get him through doors. It doesn't actually necessarily get people to read his shit. Aiden has found a way to get people to read his shit. It's that simple. And he's protected under the very same rights that this man is. And it drives him crazy. It drives people. That's why you're not seeing all of the updates when it comes to, they do everything they can to avoid Turtle Boy's name. And whenever they can, they dismiss him as a blogger, not an independent journalist. It's very important that they refer to him as a blogger and not an independent journalist, because calling him an independent journalist sounds catchy. It's appealing. It's inspiring. Calling him a blogger is just like, hey, the blogger. Makes him fucking sound like an incel who sits around. Like getting fruit roll up fucking stickiness on his dick. You know, that's that's what they want to like. They play those little those little fucking buzzword games and say shit like the blogger. Yeah, man. I feel like you could have actually been at the Boston Herald. Why? I'm doing way better right now on my own. What the fuck? Maybe one day you could do what I'm doing, Mr. Wedge. Maybe one day you could be like Turtle Boy.
I wrote a book about the case, and some people on one side might not like some things I wrote, and some people on the other side might not like things I wrote. But my track record speaks for itself. It's my 8th book. It's my 3rd New York Times bestseller. I have an unblemished record as a journalist. And, you know, am I perfect? No, but I try. I think I'm a pretty good storyteller at this.
That doesn't mean shit to a bunch of Karen Reed and Turtle Boy supporters who have fucking eaten, breathed this case for the last fucking 3 years. None of that shit means anything to any of us. What we want to know is, did you do your research and put out a book worth reading?
This point, I know how to tell a narrative and write it in a readable way that people enjoy, and people seem to be reading this book and they like it, you know. But I'm not here to, you know, say whether or not you deserve to be charged with witness intimidation. You know, I think it was an aggressive charge. I certainly think that the DA's office was targeting you. I believe that because of your activism, and I think, you know, that's. And look, I write about it in the book. How you went to jail. Look, you went to jail for your beliefs. You went to jail for your activism in this case.
Mm-hmm.
And
Aiden played a clip of this guy's book, like, and it doesn't sound anything like the stuff he's talking about right here.
I lay it out in the book. I'm not going to sit and say that that's okay. You know, that must have been a tough
There you
thing.
go.
I mean, how are you doing? You know?
Oh, I'm fine. I'll be good.
That condescending shit right there pissed me off so bad last night. When I heard that, I was like, yo, dude, come on. Yeah, how you doing? Like, that's his way of saying, why aren't we talking about what a great author I am? Instead, we're sitting here talking about you and how sad it is that you're being charged with witness intimidation. Even though the reason why Aiden finds it important is extremely valid. He has a fellow journalist on that he was excited to talk to, hoping that this person would see things from a journalist perspective who's being criminally charged for doing his fucking job. So he's hoping for this. And here this guy is doing everything he can to fucking avoid being able to state his opinion on it. And it's weird. It's bizarre. You're like, dude, you're a journalist. Why don't you have strong opinions about this? How are you not following it? How do you not know all the details of the case? How did you not look up that law? Now you're going to tell me you put this in your book that you want an attaboy pat on the back from him. You put this, that he's got charged and he went to jail for his beliefs, but you didn't bother to look up the law and even say something as fucking fence sitting as some might find that to be an unconstitutional law and too broad. I mean, how hard is that? But like, you admit that you did not actually look up the law, yet you wrote about him in your book. In order to help sell your book, you used the Turtle Boy flair being his name and all of the racy shit that happened with him. Well, not really, but all of the fucking, the dramatic parts that sell the book, like him going to jail and being charged, the least you could do is tell the story properly. And I'm not saying make a whole fucking, make that half the book. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying at least, like you're basically admitting that you didn't actually you didn't care enough to look into his case. You just threw him into the book in order to help make your book a little bit more dramatic for the moment. That's basically what you're admitting to here.
I'm going to beat this, and I'm outraged about this. And I guess that's my point, is that this is the cradle of liberty. This is Massachusetts.
Right.
This is a place where a bunch of people 250 years ago didn't want to buy British tea, so they dressed up as Indians and raided a boat and threw it all overboard. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is like the home of the revolution, right? And
fucking Samuel Adams fucking had that one dude tarred and feathered. Like, it's crazy.
Here I am, an activist, right, who is in the same spirit of these people, right, sees an outrage, sees an injustice. And I'm not trying to hurt I'm not threatening anyone. I'm not hitting anyone. Nobody got their pinkies hurt or anything like that. I'm showing up. I did a rolling rally where I showed up outside of the home of Jennifer McCabe, Brian Albert, and a couple others, and what ended at the Canton Police Department. And I went there for like 7 minutes, and I said what their involvement was in the case, and that I believe that they should be arrested and charged with murder. Right?
Yep.
Do you believe that should be illegal?
No, I think we have freedom of speech in this country.
Right.
It's a blurred line though, because you are a public person with a large platform. You call yourself an award-winning journalist, so you have.
Since when does having a large platform blur the line of what your basic rights are? Why does whether or not a lot of people listen to me blur the line? What's the fucking point of having free speech if I don't have a large platform for it to be effective? Yeah, how the fuck does that matter? Right, Richie. Like, how does that blur the line? Apparently. Yeah, I mean, okay.
Do you follow journalism ethics or do you not? So are you an activist or are you a journalist?
Journalist. Yeah, journalist.
Listen, dude, who makes the rule on journalism ethics? Who makes the rule? Like, where's this Bible that Aiden mentions here at some point? Where's this journalism Bible where these rules exist? Like, where the ethics are? I mean, and why? What makes him so fucking unethical? Because that's what I'm getting at by saying that. What makes him so unethical? Things that might get him sued? That's on him. There's a reason why talking about people can't get you criminally charged in most of this country. But it could get you sued. So that's on him. If he wants to face litigation, if he wants to face civil litigation for the rest of his fucking days, if it's worth it to him to get sued over expressing his opinion, that is his prerogative. That's his fucking prerogative. He can do that all he wants.
Ethics is not the issue. The issue is illegality.
To me, it is though. To me, because I'm
Right,
there. I was there at the courthouse one day when you were following Matt McCabe and Jen McCabe out, and you were calling.
Nobody gives a fuck how you feel, dude. Nobody gives a fuck how you feel. Like, that's exactly the point here. How you feel about what fucking Aiden does is not the issue. Question is it fucking illegal? And is it fair to charge somebody? Like, you don't fucking think that your book is going to piss people off? Should we shut you up because you might hurt people's feelings in the book? Should Aiden shut you up because you might hurt his feelings in the book?
Them cop killers. I was right next to you.
I was asking them questions. I asked them why they
You
Googled
were
how long
calling them
Saddam
cop
killed.
killers. I was right next. You were shouting at them, calling them cop
No,
killers.
but did
Watch,
just
I was right
what did
next
I,
to
what
you.
did I
It's on
do?
tape.
Now, this was completely debunked this morning on Aiden's Bus Stop Live. Aiden went over it. There were two perspectives. There was Aiden's version from his phone, his first person perspective, and then there was Richie's version, microdots. And there was no Dave Wedge there. There was no Dave Wedge to be seen during that entire few moments when Aiden was asking Jen McCabe and Matt McCabe why she Googled how long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m. So why did he say that? Why say that? Why would a credible journalist why would a three-time New York Times best-selling author of 8 books lie about something like that? He wouldn't need to do that because he's got the credentials, you know? He wouldn't need to lie about something like that. Right? Trust me, bro.
And what did I do before that? I asked them.
Yeah,
why'd
you were asking questions. You were like,
and then
I don't remember all the questions, but I do
and then
remember. And what I'm saying, Aiden, is that I'm looking at this through my lens as a journalist, and I know you as a journalist. I don't know you as an activist because I've watched your work and I've seen you do. You say things that are colorful and
for sure,
inflammatory sometimes. But I was looking at it as a journalism situation. There's TV cameras. There's
hyperbole, bro.
And I was like,
I concede.
That's crazy. But do I think you should be charged with witness intimidation for that? That's for the cops to decide, and that's for the DA's office, and that's for
that's
lawyers
also
to
for
fight.
you to decide as an American citizen. Do you want to live?
I think
live
the
in
court,
a world?
I think the court will decide. You'll have your day in court.
No, but
and-
okay. So, but
yeah,
should
that's what I think.
I've incurred $1 million in legal expenses? Do you think that people, American citizens, should have to incur this type of stuff, incarceration, right? Being on bail, having to pay millions of dollars in legal fees, just to let a jury to figure it out? Like, do you think that the average citizen should
Listen,
have to
you're
do
talking
that?
to a guy who was sued by a judge, and I went through an ordeal for 5 years of my life, so I've gone through it. I know what it means to be targeted by.
What a fucking Cryford fucking thing to say, dude. What a Cryford thing for this dude to fucking say. Tao NZ, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships.
The system. This isn't my first rodeo, Aiden, and you're in a tough spot, but you have good lawyers and you have a lot of support and you have a lot of people that are helping you finance this fight. You fight it and you hope that the law is on your side. That's the best I can say to you, bud.
So you, in your book, you interviewed.
Yes, that's the best I could say to you, little guy. Fucking give him a little chuck on the chin. Fucking asshole, condescending prick.
You keep mentioning Stephanie Rizzitano. Who was that?
That's
I'm
John's
guessing-
cousin.
And I'm guessing you spoke with her.
Yeah, I spoke with Stephanie. So she was kind of helping John raise the kids. You know, she was at the house a lot. She spent a lot of time at the house and helped with the niece and nephew that John took in.
When? After John died?
After Kristen and Steve died, when John became the guardian of the kids.
Well, Karen Reed said she never saw her there.
Said she never saw Stephanie Rizzitano. at
Never
the
saw
house?
her there. Never saw her there.
Well, maybe she should call Stephanie, ask her why. I mean, that's between them. But Stephanie certainly says that's not true. She said she saw her all the time.
So here's, did you speak with any other Rizzitanos? Because this is Peggy's side of the family, obviously.
I don't believe I did. I may have spoken to one other cousin at the courthouse one day or something, but not really.
Have you
Mostly
met any members of John's family who think Karen's innocent?
Who think Karen's innocent? I
Yeah.
have not. No.
You have not. Okay. Well, there are some, and several of them have reached out to me. For instance, this is Tom Rizzitano, who says he messaged me and he said that hi Turtle Boy, I think you're doing an amazing job with your intense journalism. I'm John O'Keefe's cousin. I've been following you for quite some time, and I'm just being silent now. The corrupt crew of rejects who finally have it coming. I'll be attending the next court date and are rooting for you to pull this to an end. And then I had another one named Vincenzo who told me, hey man, my side of the family appreciates everything you're doing and getting what seems to be the real story out there. I've been following for a while. I know things were off since it happened. Disregard anything my dumbass cousin Vanessa said. I want to see those pieces of shit cops go down for what they did to my cousin. He was such a great guy and didn't deserve what he got. No matter what he did, blah, blah, blah. So you get the point here.
Yeah. So those are 2023. Have you heard from them lately?
Have I heard from Tom?
Yeah. Have you heard from them since the second trial?
No, I've not. Have you?
I have not. No, I don't know.
Then why ask? Why does it matter that it was from 2023? Why does it matter? You think, okay, smart ass. Do you think that if that's what they thought in 2023, that some new evidence against Karen Reed has come out since then that might sway their mind as to what they think of who killed John O'Keefe now? Their cousin? You think that these revelations that have come out of Michael Proctor since and Sean Good since 2023 somehow magically changed their mind to think otherwise? Well, that was in 2023. Have you spoken to them lately? No. Have you? No. Then what the fuck did you ask me that for? It's unreal, dude.
Are you suggesting that their opinions have changed?
I'd be interested to ask them that. I'd be interested.
Why?
To know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know those people.
Why would you be interested to know that unless you're obviously just stewing from the fact that these people wouldn't talk to you when you were writing this book? That they were talking to the person that you have been condescending and patronizing this entire time.
So I have no idea.
Okay. And so you spoke with, I'm guessing, did you interview the O'Keefe family about this?
Paul, the parents, they're as you can imagine, they're not in a great place, and they're sick of all this, and they're upset, and I tried very hard to speak with Peggy and John Jr., the dad, but they didn't want to speak. They're grieving their son and their daughter.
All right. Who did you think was the most compelling witness for the prosecution in this case, in the trial? And then
I know
I got that with prosecution. Who's the most compelling
in the second trial?
Either one.
In the second trial, I mean, I think the Lexus black box stuff and John's phone, John's phone data that showed the temperature going down and that it at the precise time when she reversed. I think that testimony was pretty strong for the prosecution.
Well, yeah, let's talk
I think
about
certainly for the defense, I think that the most important witnesses were the 4 medical experts that all testified that there was no evidence of a car strike, including the state's own medical examiner, Loposada. So, I think those.
Well, she wasn't the state's medical examiner. That was Scordy
The-
Bello.
Scordy Bello. I apologize, mixed up the names there. Yeah.
So, you mentioned the cell phone battery. So that's Ian Whiffen.
Yeah, Ian Whiffen. Yeah.
So
Now,
Ian-
here's the thing, people. Everyone knows that I mix up people's names all the time. Like, it happens. You misspeak. I get it. But I sure as fuck would not mix up these names so much if I had written a fucking book and I was on with one of the key figures in the trial phases of this very case. I would not. I would be selling the fuck out of this book if I'm on there with Turtle Boy. I would not be up there acting like I'm doing him a favor by being up there and just fucking stonewalling him the whole goddamn time. Like, this is bizarre.
Whiffen, the cell phone battery information shows that the cell phone never went below, I think it was like 38, 39
37.
degrees.
I think it
Okay,
was 37.
so it drastically fell.
Yep.
And then it plateaued. It never went below there. You ever bring your phone out in snow? You ever bring your phone out in the freezing cold temperature before?
Yeah, I've never looked at the temperature though. So
No, but what happens to a phone if it's out in the temperature like
It'll-
that for 5 hours?
I mean, the battery will drain.
It dies, right?
Yeah.
And because the battery goes,
I think isn't there explanation that, and again, may have some things wrong here. I'm doing my best, but isn't there explanation that it was under him?
it was
It was
Yes.
found under John.
in the middle of a blizzard. Yes,
Yeah, but it was under a 250-pound guy. So I think that was their explanation,
right.
right or wrong. But clearly the jury didn't buy it
Yes.
because they
How could-
found her not guilty.
If John was outside for 5.5 hours, as the prosecution claims he did, why didn't he have hypothermia?
He did have hypothermia. That was a
He did
contributing
not.
factor.
He did
found-
not have hypothermia.
hypothermia was one of the conditions.
It was
found by
not.
the it was blunt trauma with hypothermia.
It was not. Dr. Laposado specifically testified that he had no signs of
No,
hypothermia.
he had no frostbite. He had
No.
hypothermia. The official cause of death.
I'm telling you
death
right now.
certificate-
I'm telling you right now.
Look, you might be right.
Like, he's right. Like, originally, that's what the original cause of death was said to be on paper, was hypothermia and blunt force trauma. But Dr. Laposado testified that there was no hypothermia.
Right, but the
I am
official
right.
cause of death that was reported at the trial was
did- like,
blunt
I'm-
trauma with hypothermia as a contributing factor.
It was not. It was never.
Okay,
No one. No
I-
one
I stand
testified to
corrected
that.
then.
Yeah. So how could somebody be outside in the middle of a blizzard for 5.5 hours and not get hypothermia?
Good question. But I think all these questions have been answered at trial because Karen Reed was found not guilty.
Mhm.
So-
Okay. So if you were on the jury, how would you have voted?
Like, I get that. I find myself feeling the same way when I see people arguing online. This is part of the reason I have no interest in getting back on Twitter. People arguing online about Karen Reed's case. Just people, right? Not people who wrote books are arguing online months and months and months after this acquittal about Karen Reed's guilt or innocence. And to me, I'm like, moot argument. I'm not arguing with people about this. She was acquitted. There's no point in doing that. So I feel where he's coming from. The problem is not if I fucking wrote a book and I was here talking about the book and this is the subject of the book and I'm here to sell the book. Why this would be one of the very few, if not only one of the one and only excuse, then I would be like, this is where you talk about the facts of the case and even debate things, is if I wrote a book about the case. Right. Like, why not do that? Discuss it. I get it. Like, you're not on Twitter arguing with a troll, dude. You know? You're not on Twitter arguing with a troll. You're talking to Turtle Boy. Like, why not just have a conversation with the guy? It'll help sell your book. This isn't helping you sell your book. It could have. And Aiden's doing everything he can to lead it that way.
I would have voted not guilty because there was too much reasonable doubt. I mean, the reasonable doubt was screaming, and I've been pretty consistent in saying that there was a lot of reasonable doubt in the case.
All right. And
more so in the second trial than even the first, but I think it was in both. But the second trial, certainly ton of reasonable doubt. Everything we just talked about.
Right. So why do you, so if there's reasonable doubt.
All right.
Have done it if Karen Reed didn't do it.
I have no idea.
All right, phone lines are open. Anybody wants to call in? Maybe we'll go over some more of that tomorrow or something. Yeah. I mean, dude, I don't know if my what had to do with, but I'd say that BLT apparently has taken down his channel. Hold on a second. We'll come back to the phones in a second. BLT has apparently taken down his channel. Or no, not his channel, but his X account. His X account, not his channel. Excuse me. Sorry. I have misspoken. Good thing I'm not writing a book. So he took down his X account. Why? I don't have any idea. And privated his website. Why would you private your website? He's done that before. But why would you private your website? If your website is designed to draw people to you, then I mean, now here's the thing. And you guys should go check out Rebecca and Mel's roast of BLTs. But so today, what BLT did, let me just take a screenshot of this and hold on. But yeah, he deactivated it. It doesn't exist. He didn't hide it. He deactivated his X account. So very funny. Here it is. Okay. Why can't I? Okay, hold on. Oh, here we go. So, yeah, let me show this real quick. Oh my God. Here we go. So there was this kid. There was this kid in Vegas. I'll come back to the phones in a second. There's this kid in Vegas who went missing. And unfortunately, you know, I don't know what the deal is with his parents. I don't know why they felt the need to name the kid Lucifer, but his last name is Heckler. So the poor kid's name is Lucifer Heckler. It's not his fault. You know, like kids, they weren't put here. They don't get to choose their names. They didn't ask to be here. And so they named the kid Lucifer, and his last name happens to be Heckler. And so he goes missing. Says here the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Missing Persons Detail is asking the public's assistance in locating 4-year-old Lucifer Heckler. Lucifer Heckler was last seen on August 22nd, 2026, all approximately 800 hours near the 8 area of 5, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, this kid goes missing, and BLT puts, as a response to the post put out by the Las Vegas Police Department, puts this Giphy of Problem Child, right? The kid from Problem Child. And, you know, in his Halloween costume as the devil. Now what ends up happening, this does have a happy ending. They end up finding the kid. He's safe. He's safe back at home now as we speak. And that actually happens more times than not. People don't think that's true, but it does. So many times that there'd be a missing kid thing when I would be doing streams, and then I would put out the info, start talking about it, and then they'd find the kid within a couple of days, or within a few hours. So I think it's really funny that he was so upset and he was so set off over the ALS thing that, you know, because we were just making fun of Kreifer's moobs. You know what I mean? Me and Jimmy both were. And then, you know, just because they're assholes, we became Team ALS. Anyway, so just fuck them. But, you know, so here is this guy. He's outraged about people making fun of an ice bucket challenge, but here he is making fun of a missing kid in a town like Las Vegas. Just because the kid was unfortunately given a name that nobody I've ever heard of in life would ever actually name their child. But okay, you know. But this is not, I mean, I guess, you know, I guess it's okay to mock missing children, but not man titties in an ice bucket challenge. Right. Exactly. Right. So I'm sure he got destroyed online over that. Maybe the fact that I'm back scared the shit out of him. I don't know. No idea. Because he is quite obsessed. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that and let you guys know that he completely deleted his Twitter account for whatever reason. So yeah. And now we open the phone lines again.
Call from
Donald.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Mr. Donald from Worcester.
Oh, from Worcester. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm fantastic. How about yourself, young fella?
Doing good. Doing good.
Where do I begin? What a great presentation. This
Oh,
This-
yeah?
this guy, the book guy, what a chooch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he knows every cop he knows. No way was there probable cause. Are you kidding me? My head. You put up that perfect video with my head exploding.
Right. Like, are you kidding right now, bro? Like, you're fucking said that shit seriously.
Well, just not to rehash everything, but the number one thing they had was exigent circumstances. You show up and there's a dead cop on the lawn of a cop's house and no one's coming out and it's all in darkness. We've said this before. Someone attacking cops, you go in that house.
Yeah.
Secondarily, you have probable cause because probable cause is basically what a reasonable, prudent person would believe that a crime is being or was committed based on specific and articulable facts. The fact was he was dropped off at the house. Whether he went in or not, they debate that, but he was dropped off at the house.
Even if there was
dead on the front lawn,
and if there was a claim from the girlfriend, right, who ends up finding him on the lawn, right? If there's a claim from her that he went inside the house, then that should be enough for them to be like, listen, we got to look in the house. We got to investigate. You know,
that's the specific articulable fact.
We have to eliminate this possibility. So
yeah, they were going to the house to a party. They weren't partying on the front lawn. They were in the house.
Right.
You probable cause out the ass. When I saw those townies testifying the first trial, no, we didn't have anything to go on.
I can't believe that guy wrote a book and had the balls to say something that fucking ignorant.
No, he's a chooch.
Yeah, crazy.
You should, not to bring up the bad news out here, but we had neighborhoods blocked off looking for the suspect for my friend Kurt.
Oh my God! Yeah, so you were friends with that officer, the Worcester officer.
Yeah, he and I worked together in my small unit, special operations, and on my last day of work, he drove me home.
Jesus, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm really sorry to hear that. Do you have any idea what happened to him? Because they just found his wife. They just found his wife.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's a story. I don't know much because I'm not in it. I get bits and pieces, but it's a sad situation. It'll all come out eventually. It's just horrible.
Right.
But even I talked to Aiden about it. It's like, John O'Keefe didn't get this response. Same thing. Off-duty officer found in the yard murdered.
Right.
And they did nothing. Come on.
Right.
Probable cause. But this quote unquote writer, I love what he said. Hey, they shouldn't have tossed your house like he's from the streets.
Right. They shouldn't have tossed your house. Like, what do you mean? Like,
Dude,
but
really,
you just sat here and said that you can't say what is what's too far and what isn't, for the cops because you're not a cop. But then on the same
making all great points.
And then on the other side of his mouth, he wants to say, "Oh, well, I've been doing this for I wrote 8 books on investigation.
Yeah,
so I know what cops do. Like what?
He's a corporate shrill.
Yeah,
and that's whatever. But hey, I'm glad you're back on. Always a pleasure to see you. And I'm kind of in my own little competition in my brain that I keep beating Kazi G on first. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyways, we'll catch up again. I'm sure I'll be watching and listening. And once again, great job as usual.
All right.
Bring out all the points.
All right, right on, Donald. Thanks, man. Thanks for calling. Enjoy that retirement.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
All right, bye-bye.
Call from.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Oh, hi, Will. It's Liz, 88. How are you?
What's up, Liz? How you doing?
Not much. I really have just a quick question. I was out of the loop for a while, a couple weeks, and all of a sudden this J7 appeared. Who is she?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So are we on, like, not do we like, no, it's not like kindergarten, do we like her, do we hold her hand and get cooties? Like, is she a supporter? You don't know. You don't know, right?
No, I don't know.
Okay, so, all right. So maybe I didn't miss as much as I thought I did.
Right. You didn't miss anything. She's not to be paid attention to.
Okay, just, all right. That's good enough.
Don't
answer.
do that
And
to yourself.
Okay, I won't. My son was talking to Kevin Reddington over the weekend, and I said, Bobby, make sure you tell him how your mom's a fan of the Glera, because he likes the Glera. And he's like, Mom, I'm not a fan. Boy, I'm like, please, this is your mother asking you. But my son had him for a lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was with Bobby during that trial, and I'll tell you that man, it changed my thoughts on a lawyer, because you always just grew up thinking, yeah, we did anyway, like they're scumbags and all this. I don't know, it's not a good thing to say, but he was so nice to me. He was so compassionate. I was so scared that I was going to lose my son over something he didn't do.
Right.
And Kevin knew he didn't do it. Kevin just was so reassuring, he said, don't worry. And he wouldn't even take in Bobby's case, but Bobby was in the military. And if you watch, like, Kevin, he has a lawyer, like in the front row where Scott Pelley, or whatever her name is, Rosemary is. His name is Jay Carney. He has a mustache. He's a thin man. He's very well put together. You'll see him in the first and second row. Well, they were together as a team, and he told Kevin about my son, where he's in the military and everything. And we were lucky enough to have him. And it was great. But that Jay Carney was the one that started it all through a friend. But he was just really nice. Will, just so nice, reassuring, like giving out hugs if you needed one, Just a good guy. His office is like so cool. You go in there's like letters from people like Mo Vaughn, different people, want the Salemi Cadillac, these people from around South Boston, and he has like brass knuckles and skulls. It's really cool. And, well, it is kind of cool. Like, he has a story about everything, and he's a diver and stuff. So he's a really interesting guy. He has tattoos on both his shoulders, and they're both in Greek. I forget what they mean, but they have, it's like a good meaning.
Gyro on one arm and baklava on the other.
No, just not guilty or something like that. Or what I don't know, just weird. But he's a really nice guy, and for some reason, he's taken a liking to you.
Man, he's very cool about telling me that. Like, Dina sent me a video. I played it at the beginning of the stream. Dina sent me a video where he was.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, he's that's my guy, man. Kevin Reddington's my guy, man. I'm trying to tell y'all.
Right. And he doesn't just say that lightly. He doesn't pick up, And he said that to me because I said, I'm going to meet up with the Glera. He's like, the Glera? I'm only kidding. He's coming on live. This was months ago, when I knew you had formed a little relationship in the courthouse.
He's so cool, man.
He is, you know what? He is the best guy you would ever want. He's so compassionate. He's truthful. And boy, when he gets up there to argue for you. I felt like I was in like SVU, like on a TV show. That's how incredible he was. Seriously, you know, it was my really first time going to court because we're not a law-breaking family, or, you know what I mean, or litigious or anything like that. And it was unbelievable. And you know what happened? A juror fell asleep, and another juror was out in the hallway talking about our case. So our case
Ooh,
was
that's.
canceled. Yeah, whatever.
Did it get thrown
happened.
out? Did it get thrown out?
Yes. It got
That's,
thrown out.
yeah, there you go.
But you know what Kevin did? He said, all right, you know what, we're going to go for trial by judge. And we weren't, and there was 10 kids.
Yeah,
10
that
witnesses.
makes sense. So
Yeah, like,
so a bench trial, it's, of course, if you heard a jury talk,
right.
yeah, like
Yeah,
outside. But didn't you file a motion to dismiss, right? You didn't file a motion to dismiss after that?
Well, what he did was 5 of kids had already went through, and Bobby was supposedly beat up all these 10 kids.
Or mistrial? I mean, it should have been a mistrial, I think.
No, what they did, one of the kids told the absolute truth. He said he didn't do anything wrong. You know, his friends were lying. So the judge knew this. He said, let's settle it here. We want a judge trial. The judge said, you're sorry for what you've been through, Mr. Stevens. This is over with, And so, because they lied, you know, and it was, I don't know, it just ended. It was like so good. But, yeah, he was kind.
All right. Well, right on.
Yeah, he was.
Right on, Liz.
Yeah,
Thanks
but
for calling.
Yeah. All right, thank you, and I'm glad you're back. I know I had said one thing. Well, I knew you're fine and everything like this, but we just get to know you, miss you.
I know. I'm just saying, you don't have to like worry about me if just because I'm.
I wasn't worried about you.
Because I need.
No, I have all boys.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about you. I have all boys.
Yeah.
No, I'm just like, I miss your commentary. I miss your content because it's wonderful. All right. Well, you have a good night, and as always, very good to talk to you.
All right, you too,
and
Liz.
The best chat. Okay, bye, honey.
All right, bye.
Call from
Viper.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Viper.
What's up, Viper?
Oh.
This is Jester.
Oh, what?
Jester.
Jester?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Don't let me catch you flying below the hard deck.
Oh, okay.
You even know what I'm talking
You're
about.
so funny, dude. I didn't realize that you've been gone for a while off the air because I hadn't been watching because I had some stuff going on and myself personally. But I woke up and caught you, and wow, that guy is an idiot who's writing a book that he doesn't know nothing about anybody's name. Did he really write it, or did somebody else write it for him?
Yeah. Did he have a ghostwriter?
Whatever. I mean, come on. Thousands and thousands, millions, not thousands, millions of us people watched around the world, and we know the people in the house know exactly what happened and tried to frame it on Karen Reed. So that period, my book is done.
Yeah. When's it come out?
Right now.
All right. Right on. Y'all go out and buy that book. What's it called?
It's Blizzard of Lies.
Yeah. I think that's taken.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Damn. That was quick.
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't talked to my son, who's a cop. Hello. And I asked him about if I told him, I didn't tell him it was a real thing. I gave him, just if this would happen, if cops would go into the house. And he said, well, yeah, why? Why wouldn't they?
Right.
There's a dead body on the lawn. It doesn't matter who it is. I go, even if it was another cop, and he goes, it doesn't matter. We
need to see if everyone in the house is okay. That's how
Well,
it.
yeah,
that's
that too.
what it boils down to. We need to see if everybody is in the house is okay. If they refuse, that's when you go get a warrant. You know, like
exactly.
it's that simple. Like there's a dead cop on the lawn. We need to know that the other cop that owns the house is okay, and that anybody else who lives here is okay. We need to make sure there's nobody in the house that's hurt.
Exactly.
Or worse.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, millions of people have watched this. This guy's wrote a book that he didn't really talk to anybody. Did he even watch the case? You know, the trial, excuse me, not the case. Actually, my son gave me a long thing about there's a difference between a case and a trial. I don't understand it yet, but I'm sure I'm going to hear more about it if he hears this. But so now I told him about you, and I told him about other YouTubers that I've been watching and things. So I'm hoping that he'll start listening to you, because you tell the truth. You're not a bullshitter, but you bullshit, but truthfully.
Yeah. No, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's the way I explained you.
Right on. Right on.
You know, I just want to. Hey, how's your fur babies?
They're great. Yeah, they're fantastic.
I saw a video of your cat and dog playing with each other. That was so darling.
They're just, that's how they always are. Yeah.
You don't see cats and dogs play like that too often.
No, yeah. And Drago just loves it. You know, he's just, like he just looks to and adores Clubber. And like,
that is so sweet.
He's always giving him
I just
kisses.
have to say that.
He's always licking his head, trying to clean his head for him. Really, it's really, really sweet watching them hang out together.
It is. I know other people want to call in, so thank you for answering your phone, my phone, whatever, however you say it. My dog's in the doghouse because she ripped apart one of my pillows, my new pillows.
Oh, yeah.
You go lay down. I am talking about you, but you're in timeout. She looked straight at me and had thing in her mouth, and my first thing was,
she knew what she was doing.
oh yeah, because she was busted, man, and she's never done that before. I've had this dog for over 3 years. She's she's well-trained service dog. I trained her, but I used to train dogs all the time. That's why I know the bite on the arm. The guy, I wonder if he even put that in the book, you know, the dog bite, little things like that. But she is a trained service dog. I have her certified. And one day, because I can't see very well, I still haven't had my surgeries yet. But one day a car came zooming down the road, and of course I didn't see it and I didn't hear it because I had music going, because I play music when I walk sometimes. And she stood out in front of me and stopped me, and she stopped traffic like 3 different directions all around, because I couldn't see that a car was almost ran us over, and she stopped everything for me. She saved my life.
Wow.
Our lives. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome.
I know. Well, I better let you go, but I wanted to tell you that story.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Call from.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, it's Piney Woods.
What's up, Piney Woods?
What's up?
It's been a while. How are you?
I'm pretty good. What about yourself?
Not
You
bad.
seem all right.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, I just wanted to call in because I watched that guy, that writer, on Billy Bush, and then I watched him on Turtle Boy because I think Billy Bush mentioned him, and I couldn't figure out how he got on with either one of them. He didn't seem to have.
Because he has the credentials. You know what I mean? Like, Billy Bush is only going to be like, oh, look at this. This guy wrote a Karen Reed book, and he's a 3-time New York Times best-selling author. He's, he used to work for the Boston Herald. You know what I mean? Like that's enough.
It just goes
That's
to
enough
show
for
you
Billy.
that doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything.
Well,
He's got-
yeah, but the thing is Billy Bush is going to have him on based on those things, and then it's going to be a bust of an interview because he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about once he's up there. You know what I mean? And then that sucks for people like Billy Bush and Turtle Boy, you know. But the thing is Turtle Boy, I didn't watch the Billy Bush interview. I love Billy Bush. I think Billy Bush is great. I hope it was great. But
it was terrible.
I don't know.
And he corrected him. Billy Bush corrected him a few times, and it was just
Right.
It was awful and
Yeah,
awkward.
see,
and
that sucks. And I mean, and that just, you know, that's you know, Turtle Boy is gonna have the guy up there, and he's gave him an opportunity, you know, and it sounds like Billy Bush gave him an opportunity to sell his book properly too, and he just fucking shit the bed.
he completely shit the bed. I mean, it was just, and it was awful, and I felt terrible for him. But I mean, Billy Bush handled it, you know, and just kind of, yeah, well, I think some people disagree with you on that or whatever, and kind of fluffed him. You could tell he didn't want to continue for very much longer. But and on Turtle Boy, I just kept thinking, you know, here's Turtle Boy fighting for his life legally, and he has this guy on, and the guy doesn't even know. I mean, he didn't know even the most basic stuff, even the most basic facts, or even where there were contradiction in facts. He didn't even recognize that there were. It was just like, oh no, this is what they said, and so that's what happened. It was so weird. And I felt so bad for Turtle Boy, who, you know, I don't know. I look at him and I feel kind of like maternal towards him. I want him to meet good people and have good luck. And I'm so grateful he has great lawyers, but it was awful.
Yeah, I feel like I've avoided the Macro Machado stuff, but I feel like I might touch on it a bit because it's wild. Like, she's getting crazy. And I was listening to, like, what I really get really annoyed with is when I see her play victim, you know, and I see her like up there, and you know, I see somebody who I know betrayed Aiden's trust several times, and then has the audacity to be like, I still support him. He's the one who's being like, no. And I'm like, I don't get how you can like listen to that and believe it, you know, like it's wild. So now I kind of feel like I want to talk about some of it.
Well, I don't know
Not
anything
tonight,
about any of that extra stuff. When he talks about it, I kind of zone out because
I mean, if it's not what interests you, it could become a lot, man. It could become a lot. And you know, and I agree with you. You're saying that you're bummed that people are focused on things like that and not so much the stuff that's going on, but the problem is,
no, I'm bummed that he gets betrayed. I mean, I'm old enough to have a few betrayals under my belt, and it just seems like, I mean, but they're spread out usually over a few years. It just seems like these people are just coming at him, people who he trusted.
It's always people that he trusts. Always.
It breaks my mama's heart, you know, it does. I just feel like, oh.
I like, that was the thing, is when it came to Machado, like, because I'm also the kind of guy that I don't believe that being a good friend is trying to tell somebody who they can or cannot trust if they're an adult who, you know what I mean? Like, I respect Aiden as an adult, so I have to respect his judgment and character. You know what I mean? That's
Absolutely.
his business. It's his business. You know what I mean? But when I saw her lie, when I saw her talk about things that, like, she spread that false rumor about Bettero, And
I heard that.
you
That
know,
ticked me off. That made me mad.
and then I saw her like just say things that clearly were told to her in confidence. I'm like, okay, I don't mess with this lady anymore. I was pretty open about it on my clubber walks at the time. And I was like, I can't mess with her no more. Like, I need to set a boundary between me and her. And I think I'm just done listening to her show. I that's my own decision, you know, but I wasn't about to be like, you know, I don't like what she's doing to Aiden, because that's not my business. You know what I mean? Like, that's if Aiden wants to put up with that, like that, it's his business to decide what his threshold for how much he's going to put up with somebody's betrayal. You know what I mean? Like, that's his business, you know. And as a friend of his, I feel like part of being that friend is to respect those boundaries and respect his decision making, you know, and who he trusts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All I can do is just be trustworthy myself. That's all I can really do. You know what I mean? So,
Well, I mean, the only person who ever would warn me of that when I was trusting the wrong people was my brother. I think it's like,
I just
think
feel like
friends
that
don't
always
tend
goes
to-
wrong.
yeah.
That always
Yeah.
goes wrong, because it feels like it also comes off as like, what's your agenda? You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever do that because I don't want to fucking come off like, oh, you know, like I'm conniving in some way. Like, oh, you can't trust this person. You can trust this person, but you can't trust this person. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm the kind of person that I'll see somebody doing some shady shit, and then I'll get to a point where I'm just be like, all right, I'm going to expose this motherfucker. I'm going to show exactly why I just don't fuck with this person. And that's what I end up doing. And then people can decide for themselves, you know? But
well, the thing that I like to do in for my life now, as an old lady who just doesn't have anything to lose, you know, I just always remember it, and I don't forget stuff like that.
Right.
So for me, it's just, you're out. If you do something to me, if you do something to somebody I love, you're done.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ever do anything to you, because that's not what I do.
that's just what I do. I just cut
Yeah.
I just cut myself off. That's all.
You're just cut. Yeah. You're done.
Yeah.
And I feel so, it just makes me feel so sad for him, because we're right here getting close to the finish line and to getting this stuff dealt with. And there's all this
for sure
extra lagniappe, you know, and
yeah.
breaks my heart. But I wanted to call in because I haven't gotten to see, I've been working almost nonstop, feels like lately. And I just wanted to call in and say hi and, you know, remark that I think you're a good friend. So I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks.
So, but I did want to say one thing. I thought there was going to be a mistrial in the Clancy trial today.
Oh, the Catholic Church thing. Yeah, that was really inappropriate, but
that was intentional, and that she did it again.
and
I mean, it's like,
I think that judge has a lot of what wasn't there before as much, but now is clearly there, since there's a lot of the public interest has made this very political. So,
and I wouldn't be surprised if he slept on it and went, you know what? I'm wrong.
right.
I'm calling a mistrial with prejudice, jeopardy attached. We're
think,
done here.
Yeah, I think that he is just there's political things at work here where he has to be very, very careful about what he does handling this case.
But he seems like a good guy. He
Seems
seems
like
he's
it.
trying to do the right thing.
Seems
you
like
know?
it.
And man, I don't know how. I've been watching just to watch Kevin Reddington, lawyer. I feel like I've learned about 50 things in, you know, a day.
He's a beast, man. That dude knows what's up, man.
And I think the judge also knows what he's doing. He's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to be, I don't know the right word. He's trying to be fair, it seems like, with
with everyone. I think he's giving a little bit too much grace to those prosecutors because God knows where they came from. They have like zero emotional intelligence. They're just, God, ugh. But
yeah, that shit's crazy to talk about mortal sins and things like that, dude. Like, you can't do that shit, man.
It's all the stuff, and I read that one has 18 years experience, one has 22, but at that age, you're not a baby lawyer anymore. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, a 1L would know not to bring religion into the questioning, but it doesn't matter. That this whole trial, there's so many instances of them being wildly inappropriate, and he's called them on it a few times, but never like in front of the jury too much. You know, never to be chastised, but on this religion thing that they keep harping on, I thought his head was going to explode today.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody, anybody who's been to
why
one law
would they
school class
do
knows
that, man? Like, why would they do that and then push the envelope and do it again?
That's
You
know
know what I mean?
bananas.
Right?
It's just nutty.
Yeah.
And I kind of think, I mean, it seems crazy, but it feels like they want to throw it. Like they're trying.
Maybe. I mean, because she's not gonna go free. I almost said I almost said walk.
Right.
not.
Well, you're not gonna do that either.
She's not gonna go free, but
no.
You know, like, yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like
a tough case. There's a way to try this case, and they're not doing it like that. There's a way to try this case. They could have gone, okay, we'll take your guilty admission and we'll just go on punishment. And, you know, I think Mr. Reddington offered that and they said no. So they went on emotion and pictures and horror, and it was wrong. They did it wrong. And it's too bad, but I'm embarrassed for Plymouth County too. Those are your two best? Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, but anyway, I have been, I'm watching that trial. It's very hard to watch, but I'm watching it because Kevin Reddington is, you know, even after 35 years of trial lawyering with a little break, man, I'm learning a lot.
I have a harder time watching the know-it-alls on Instagram and TikTok. And I haven't even been watching TikTok. I keep seeing them on Instagram mostly. But I
don't even have TikTok.
I can't stand. Yeah, everyone is an idiot. Everyone's an idiot talking about this case, and anyone talking about that her husband had anything to do with it is, I hope the worst things in life happen to you. Seriously, like, you're just terrible, terrible people. Leave that dude alone.
He doesn't sound like a great husband, but he certainly didn't do this.
Right. She admitted that she did.
Yes, it's not really a question at all.
It's
not a question.
It's not at all a question. It's not a question. That's it.
I have a lot of friends that are in family that like to call me and ask me legal stuff, and they'll tell me their theories. That's the only reason I know that this was out here. And I'm like, no, man. No, that's not come on.
Yeah.
I mean, but I did laugh. Somebody told me about the shoes in the video, which is clearly just a different quality video, but it reminded me of you and your shoe theory, Karen Reed. And I was laughing so hard, and my friend's going, why are you laughing? There were different shoes. And I'm like, okay, whatever. It's the white bottom. No, it's the black bottom. But anyway, but that was the only funny thing out of this. I mean, I don't understand why they're going after him at all. But
yeah,
people are internet's gonna internet, as my daughter says.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what's happening. But it's a great way for at least lawyers and people who want to be lawyers to watch what a lawyer does, and a judge. I think the judge is good. but it's just, you can learn so much from how Mr. Reddington comports himself, how he targets on evidence, how he makes other witnesses his witnesses. It's just,
He's so badass, man. He's just so
it's a masterclass. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great watching him work.
Yeah, but I just wanted to call in and say hi. I hadn't been really around.
All right. Well, neither have I. So.
But you guys have fun. Keep doing you, and I'll catch you on the flip.
All right. Have a good one, Piney Woods.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Call from
Sam.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, this is Sam.
Hi, Sam.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. I'm glad you're live. I feel like it's been too long, but I completely get it. So,
Okay.
Liz, 88 had a little Kevin Reddington story, so I figured I would share mine.
Okay.
He represented my mom pro bono 30 years ago when she was pregnant with me.
Wow.
Because he was interested in my grandma's case. My grandma was on trial for murder in, it was out of Fall River District Court, well, Superior Court, back in the 80s. She was a nurse, and there was a terminally ill cancer patient, and the doctor, like, who was in charge, went away on vacation. So he gave, like, verbal orders, you know, keep the patient comfortable. And my grandma was the last one to inject her. They called it the fatal dosage. And that's the name. They made a book and a Lifetime movie about her.
The Fatal Dosage?
Yeah, the book's called Fatal Dosage.
So
by
what did she
Gary.
like? Did she allegedly like mercy kill the person, or
That's what they were trying to say. Yeah, they were trying to
Okay.
say that she mercy killed her, but my grandma really did. I guess like nurses were going in there and giving morphine and not like writing it down. And my grandma was the last one to go
do
in.
it? And then because she actually did her job and logged the dosage, they called it the fatal one.
But then they also, because they
Wow.
found out that my grandma never graduated high school, so she was a legit nurse. She went to nursing school and everything. But
So
she
why
used
was
a-
why was Reddington representing your mom if she was pregnant with
Because
you?
he wanted, like, yeah, I guess, well, my mom told me that he was interested in, like, hearing more about my grandma's case, like the details of it and stuff.
So he represented your mom for free to do what? What was he representing?
Well,
her
so
doing?
it was a civil case with my mom.
Okay.
She got rear-ended when she was pregnant with me, and it was really bad. She needed like surgery on her neck and everything, and the guy took off and left his license plate
I've
behind.
rear-ended somebody that bad before.
Yeah. So he got her a settlement for $150,000 back in, I was born in 93. So that was kind of like a lot of money back then, I would suppose.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean,
Yeah. He probably got something, I'm sure, you know, for winning a civil settlement, you know. So
yeah, that's great.
but yeah, they made I think she's like I'm a little too young to know.
Is that the name of the Lifetime movie?
No,
the
that's
Fatal
the name of the
Dosage?
book. I have to look up the Lifetime movie. I know Patty Duke played my grandma.
Patty Duke, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I heard she's like, you know, like a
My mom had a book that Patty Duke wrote, like laying around the house. I remember, like, I don't even know who the fuck Patty Duke is.
Right? I don't either, but I heard she.
I watched a lot of TV, but I bet you she was somebody who's I saw stupid TV movies and I just never knew what her name was.
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
what
it's
it
a
was.
Lifetime movie. I don't know the name of the Lifetime movie, but the book is called Fatal Dosage by by Gary Proverst. Yeah, she got in trouble after though because she faked her. She used a different person's name to get her nursing license, and they found that out like during the trial, so they revoked her nursing license, and she was like never allowed to be a nurse again.
That's it. But that's a bad look, though. That's a bad look. Like,
I know.
If she's on trial for like, it would seem that she would give a fake name so that she could maybe get away with killing people. You know,
I know,
like,
but she was like whatever, poor, I guess, and didn't, I don't know, couldn't get her, who knows? I mean, I wish I could ask her these questions. She passed away when I was 16, and I, had issues growing up, so I didn't like, I was into other bad things, so I had all these, that was a really cool, I wish I could ask so many questions. I guess she brought a gun in the courtroom and said she was going to kill herself if she got convicted.
she brought a gun to the courtroom?
Yes. Yeah, it was in the 80s, so you could, like, do that.
Oh, my God, dude. Your grandmother totally did that shit, dude. What are you talking about?
No.
She's so
Save
guilty.
That lady.
Get the
that lady had terminal cancer. She was dying.
And she was like, nobody's going to miss her, bro. Like, you're great.
Yeah.
It's a bad dude, bro. I'm trying to tell you. Clearly.
No, she was awesome. She was great. She lived in Boston, like right above like the Boston Medical Center, so it's like right in the heart of Boston, and she drove like an absolute maniac, and she was great. She was awesome.
Bro.
Yeah.
She totally did that shit. What are you talking about? Like, she sounds like,
you know what? Like she could have.
Right.
She could have.
She was probably a great grandma. I'm not saying she wasn't a good grandma. I'm just saying there's probably more to that story.
like mercy killings, it's
I don't know about Mercy,
she was
bro.
miserable.
Maybe everybody else was fucking miserable. She was like, I'm getting rid of this mean bitch, bro. I'm done with her. She's gonna die anyway. Like, I'm just saying, like, I feel like that could be a possibility. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like it could be the other way. Like, she was more empathetic. Like, this poor woman was suffering. Okay. She also I remember I always wanted to be a nurse because I knew that she was a nurse, and she had, one of her patients had like glass in her foot or something and kicked her in the shoulder. And she had to have like a ton of surgeries on her shoulder, and it like had a wound that would like never heal.
You know what that's called? It's literally called a chip on your shoulder.
Oh yeah, that too.
Like, she literally had a chip on her shoulder.
Yeah.
And so, right. Like, that's what, dude, like, it's all spelled out. Like, that's like the world, the universe is spelling it all out. Like, this lady was bad news, bro. Your grandma was hell on wheels, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
No, she did a good thing.
I hate to be the one to break it to
they
you.
Acquitted her. They acquitted her,
Whatever. She got away with it. Fine. Right on. I'm just saying she got away with it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I suppose.
There you go. Look at that. I convinced you. Look at that. I have ruined your grandmother's image. I love it.
No, I know she was a great lady, and that woman, I've heard a lot about it over the years, obviously, and she was very, very sick. I guess the doctor said, like, keep her comfortable. She's not going to make it through the weekend. He went away, the doctor on charge.
That sounds like she was like, that sounds like permission to me. Like, it sounds like I got the okay.
I see someone saying Mary Capute. It
like
was
what?
Anne Capute. Yeah, Anne Capute was my grandma.
Anne Capute?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's her.
I'm going to have to look into that.
Yeah. The book is on Amazon. You know, I'm sure I could find the Lifetime movie on YouTube or something.
I have questions. I have questions about old Mrs. Kaput.
Yep.
Jesus.
Compute. Yeah, that was her married name. She had
Compute.
so many different names. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
How many different married names?
I know, like, she was like Anne LaRue, Anne Compute. I think that's, I don't know. I feel like there might have been another. Because I remember going through like old documents and I was like, whose name is this?
How
My
many?
mom.
How many times was your grandmother widowed? It's just a question. It's just a question.
She wasn't.
She was never widowed.
No.
Never. Not once. Not one of those husbands.
No. I think I don't know how many husbands she had. My mom has 3 sisters, and only one of them, they have the same dad. So 2 of my aunts have different dads. And when this all happened, like, Compute was the last name of one of my aunt's dads, my youngest aunt.
Okay.
So
yeah, we're gonna have to
but
look
all
into
the
this.
other dads were still alive. You know, they've all
I'm doing a
passed
deep
away.
dive in this shit, bro. We're gonna about to FOIA
Yeah.
and find out all about old
I know.
Miss
I
Anne
have.
Compute.
My mom has all the old like newspaper clippings and stuff, and we have the book. And I've been thinking about like asking my mom like way more questions about it. You know, now that I'm like getting older, my mom's getting older, and it makes me sad. I want to, know all this stuff. Like, because my
Yeah.
grandma's gone, I can't ask her any questions.
You
know?
deserve to know the truth about your murderous grandmother, your fucking sociopathic grandmother. You deserve to know the truth, and I hope that this is discovered for you.
Yeah. I know.
So sad.
Yeah, poor grandma. I do it. She was a great lady. You
Right
would have
on.
liked her.
Everyone in the chat loves her. Everyone
Yeah.
in the chat's like Team Grandma. Great.
Yeah, she was great.
Grand murderer. Oh my god.
Well, I know Cosie's trying to call in, so I wanted to share my little Reddington. So I keep running into him. I work like 5 minutes away from the Plymouth courthouse. So I go, there's like this little like deli corner store or whatever. And I've run into him like 4 times in the last week. And then my mom called me the other night and she was like, I just ran into Kevin Reddington.
Yeah, man. Kevin Reddington's awesome. I love it.
He is. He's a great guy.
Right on.
But
All right.
all right.
Thanks for calling,
It was nice
Sam.
talking to you. Thank you. I'm glad you went live.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
All right. Listen, if the next caller is Kasi, I'm going to keep it on. But if it's not Kasi, I'm hanging up on the person rudely and I'm ending the stream because I'm tired. You're on. Who am I speaking with? You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, hey, Will, is this Will DeGlera?
Is this specially appointed prosecutor Robert Cosgrove?
It is. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, buddy.
What's happening?
It's not much, man. How are you?
I'm upright and sucking wind, so I guess I'm doing all right.
That is good. Yes. Yes.
Hey, fun fact, I knew that lady's grandmother. We used to call her the bedpan.
Why'd you call her that?
Well, I mean, I don't really want to get into it.
Okay.
But, in between when she was murdering people, she would, act as a bedpan. I mean, use your... let's just forget I said anything about it, Will.
Oh! Yeah!
Okay. So how you doing, man?
I mean, we used her as a bedpan, Will.
Okay, got it. Yeah, we got it.
You're right. I felt like there was confusion.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a little confusion.
A little bit of confusion. So what are we talking about today? What were we doing? Oh, the guy that wrote the book there.
Yeah, the fucking what the fuck's the guy's name again? I already forgot.
Dave Wedgie.
Wedgie. Dave Wedgie.
It's Wedgie, isn't it?
It's Wedgie. It's Wedgie. Fantastic.
His middle name is Atomic.
His middle name is Atomic.
It's Dave Atomic Wedgie. I think that's his name. Yeah.
Dave Atomic Wedgie, everybody.
Yeah. The thing that pissed me off about that guy, he was talking about Ian Whiffin's pretend flights of stairs that were never recorded and don't have any data tied to them. And, it was pretty much at that point. I'm like, all right, this guy's not for real. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right. Like, and it's ridiculous. This guy's going to write a book and then and you're going to talk about Turtle Boy, but you're not going to actually look at the stuff from his personal way of investigating these things. Very simple things like the 3 flights of stairs that they said were picked up, that he just showed that it was made on the flattest fucking street in all of that area.
Actually, Will, he didn't show anything. He just said he did it. He just said he rode that path. And then when Alessi went to cross-examine him about it, it was a sidebar, and he could not ask the question. He had to move on. There was no data tied to that.
Right. And that was that day. I remember Aiden was like, "Oh, I'm just going to get in my car and I'm going to make a video and post it." Like he did that immediately after that happened.
Yeah. Watch out for the hill, kid. Remember that?
Right. There were no hills. They were showing right there on that screen the exact location on that street where they said that happened. And
yeah,
Aiden was like, "Well, I'll just go right there." It's flat.
Yeah, it's like one of the flattest roads ever.
Why didn't that guy know that? You see what I'm saying? Because he just doesn't want Turtle Boy to be part of this story at all.
Because he's a prosecution heavy type guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a male coffin robber, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, he did concede that, you know what I mean? The obvious things, that she was found not guilty and stuff, but
he implied that there was just too much reasonable doubt, and that's the only reason why.
Yeah. And he brought up the hypothermia, and Dr. LaPrasada was able to show through the Wisniewski spots in the stomach that there was no hypothermia.
He also implied that the reason why Karen Reed was acquitted was because of Michael Proctor's texts. Now, we know that wasn't true because those came out in the first trial, and it was a mistrial, and they were hardly brought up at all
in the second one.
Right, exactly. Who didn't testify in the second trial at all. So
it reminded me of a massive wussy Phelps, you know what I mean? MW Phelps.
Yeah, this had Phelps written all over it. It was the same shit. It was like, I've seen this one before.
he was very MW like, wasn't he?
Yeah.
When the thing is, Will, when I'm sitting there and I'm answering the questions and this guy can't answer them, that's a problem.
Right. Right.
You
like
know?
it's so crazy. Like he could have like made a shtick out of that whole thing. And Hayden was giving him all, he kept fucking pitching him. He kept pitching him fucking just things that he could knock out of the park. And he wouldn't do it. And like stuff that would just really sell his book.
He's like, I'm not really remembering that part of it, but I guess I'll take your word for it. What do you mean, dude?
Right. Whether you like it or not, having this debate, even if it's a heated conversation, even if it's whatever, like having a debate with Aiden, or actually at least conceding it's giving your opinion, just simply giving your opinion on things that you as a human being should have no excuse as to why you can't express your opinion on, right? So like just even that stuff, he just wouldn't do it. But if he had the guts to do that, man, like people who don't even agree with what he said about the case would still go out and buy his book. But all they saw was just a spineless guy who saw a cash grab and just went with the easiest way to write something that doesn't actually provoke any real thought.
Right. And had terrible recall on top of it.
Had terrible recall. Like you could tell he didn't care about anything that he wrote.
Yeah, so it's not so much of a flex these days when Mike holds that book up right to the camera and go, "Were you in the book, Will Clara? Were you in the book, Will Henry?" I wouldn't want to be in that.
I think Kreiford's having him on tomorrow.
Oh, that should be good.
Like at 2 in the afternoon or something, like 2 or 2:30 in the afternoon.
That can't miss TV right there.
Either that or it's pure clickbait because it absolutely implies that he has him on. But he could just be going over Aiden's interview with him. It's possible.
But by the way, there was a G move by Aiden to just swoop in and get that guy real quick. Within a few hours, you know what I mean? Because Mike's been crowing about that book for about a week. And Turtle Dove makes one call. The guy's there in like 10 minutes, it seems like,
Yeah. I mean,
that's gonna go right up Crawford's elementary canal, if you know what I'm saying.
Agreed. Yeah, it's that dude was just a big fucking, what a waste, like who like all that guy did was inspire me to go out and write a book, like if this guy could do that, like why the fuck, you know what I mean? And now I got to go out and get a literary agent because Aiden is like thinking the same thing. He's like, dude, like if this asshole can fucking go out and write a book, how do I go out and get a literary agent? Let me just go do that.
And plus, he remembers dates and timestamps like nobody's business. Like he doesn't even have to look anything up.
Right. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like all of us that have been here since the beginning could do a way better job than that guy did.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what sucks. Imagine so Aiden gets a literary agent, but he's got to deal with publishers. Do you think any publisher is going to put up with Aiden's style of writing? Do you think they're going to get? Do you think they're going to extend him the same courtesies that they would say Hunter Thompson?
Not when he tells him to get in the hole.
Right? No, I mean, but this is the reason why people would buy the book from Turtle Boy, right?
Can you imagine?
One of the reasons. Excuse me, one of the reasons.
That'd be the best-selling book of the year, guaranteed.
For sure. Anything Karen Reed related? Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep. Imagine if they did it together. Woo-hoo.
Imagine that.
That'd be something.
Yeah, I want to read the Mazza book. I want to read Mazza the book.
Mazza the book.
The Blizzard of Kos by Will Clara. The Blizzard of Kos. The Blizzard of
Are you down for the cause?
All right, my man. I'm going to wrap this one up. I'm tired.
All right, Will Glera. Well, it was really nice talking to you, and thanks for having me on your presentation, there,
It's
buddy.
always a pleasure to have you on my presentation, especially appointed prosecutor Robert Cosgrove, everybody.
Peace in the Middle East, everybody.
All right, people. That's going to be it for me. I'm tired. I'm tired, boss. And I'm hungry again. But it's really great hanging out with you guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to try to go live again tomorrow. I want to go over more of that stuff. It was annoying, dude. Like hearing this guy, God, that shit was terrible. But yeah, we're gonna hang out a little more. I'll put a petty stream together one of these days this week, hopefully. But guys, you guys are amazing. I love you very much. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and with all the support. And remember, oh yeah, my SVU podcast. I have a post in community. Go check that out. It has the link to the SVU podcast hosted by Kevin and Rebecca. It's called These Are Their Stories. And it was really fun. It was really fun to do that podcast. So go check that out. And guys, thank you for all the support. I don't have the words. You guys are always so generous and kind. It means the world to me. And speaking of which, Jody just sent $20 on Venmo and says, "Thanks, Will. Great to have you back. It's good to be back." Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Guys, remember, it only takes a second to stay safe. Being retarded never stopped anybody from being a good neighbor. I love you very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.
Watch out!
Today, being retarded means leading a full life. Retarded people go to work or school, just like their neighbors, and come back to a real home. A supervised home, right in the neighborhood, where they belong. Being retarded never stopped anyone from being a good neighbor.